Rangers warm-up brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. Heavy lies the head that wears the crown. The Kansas City Royals are looking for the sweep here in the city of Fountains, Kansas City, Missouri. It's a typically hot and humid afternoon here today, and the Rangers trying to salvage the finale of a three-game series. They've got Cam Lowe on the mound today, and the Rangers trying to bounce back after a 6-5 loss last night. We welcome you to Kansas City, Mo. Along with Tom Grieve, I'm Josh Lewin. Nelson Cruz made it close for the Rangers yesterday. What a great thing to see.
Well, we heard that Nelson Cruz had changed his batting stance. It allows him to see the ball a little bit better. We could read the statistics at Oklahoma City, 45 games, 45 knocked in, 15 home runs. He was hitting .350. But until last night, we hadn't seen it for ourselves. Well, last night, Nelson Cruz came back to the big leagues, and it was kind of a spectacular reappearance for Nelson. First time up, he hit a line shot home run to left field. Later on in the game, in fact, in the ninth inning off Dotel, a long home run off the facing of the water out in left field. 2 home runs, he knocked in 5. Huge return for Nelson Cruz. This version, it's only one game, but it looks a lot better than the last one.
Royals 6, Nelson Cruz 5 was your final score last night, and Kevin Millwood just didn't have it going on. Hopefully Cam Lowe will find a little something for Kansas City today.
Yeah, Cam obviously had the really good streak of 5 or 6 starts. Then he had a couple of subpar starts. His last start was a quality start, 6 1/3, threw more pitches than he's thrown all year, only gave up 3 runs. But if you look at the last 3 starts, his ERA is 7. The previous 5, it was 160. I think Cam is a lot closer to being the pitcher he was the previous 5 than he is the last 3, and we saw it pretty much in his last start when he pitched pretty well.
All right, now 2 days from the trade deadline. Cue the fancy haunting music right now. We're wondering, who's staying, who's going? Will Mark Teixeira be skipping out of town? T.R. Sullivan will be in the booth with us momentarily, helping to break down the rumors. Rangers warm-up brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. Rangers and Royals today from Kansas City. The trade rumors continue to fly, and T.R. Sullivan from MLB.com. You've checked out his fine work on the Rangers website. T.R., what are you hearing? Is Mark Teixeira staying or going?
Well, right now the Atlanta Braves, Josh, I think have the best offer on the table for him, and I don't think the Rangers want it right now. I think they can do better. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim are the 4 teams involved. And I think this could go down to the wire with the Rangers trying to get everything they can for Teixeira. And if they don't get what they want, I think he'll stay and be here for another year and 2 months.
All right, that's all conjecture. Let me give you a definite. You got Cal Ripken and Tony Gwynn going in the Hall of Fame this afternoon. Your thoughts?
Outstanding class. 2 guys stayed their entire careers in one city. Gold Glovers in the field. Great offensive players. Great community guys. You know, Denny Matthews, don't forget about him. Kansas City. It's a great class. I've been to Cooperstown on this day, and I'll tell you what, it's a great day to be in Cooperstown.
With all the other inductees, former inductees kind of swarming that stage too, right? Is that part of what makes it so special?
Oh, you're surrounded by your entire baseball card collection. I was sitting next to Duke Snyder on the stage when I inducted Peter Gammons into the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's pretty overwhelming. Right before the ceremony starts, you're in the back, you know, 10 in the back, and they're all there. Willie Mays, McCovey, you know, if you're from San Francisco like me, Juan Marichal, it's pretty overwhelming. It's a great day to be in Cooperstown.
We'll be talking more about it during the broadcast today, especially with Gwynn and Ripken, and like you mentioned, the local icon here in Kansas City, Denny Matthews, longtime voice of the Royals. TR, thank you. If anything breaks during the game, fix it.
I'll rush right up here.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Josh.
Thank you, TR. We've got Ranger baseball coming up next. Again, Cam Lowe is on the mound. The Royal fans are ready on a humid Sunday afternoon. Stay dry, stay ready, Tex. Texas Ranger baseball being brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. Also by Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Rangers. Visit southwest.com. Ranger fans have made the trip, and certainly the guys appreciate that. The Rangers and the Royals interaction today with nearly identical records. Both teams have 46 wins. The Rangers have 1 more loss than the Royals do at this point. And Kansas City, Tom, suddenly scoring a bunch of runs They have won 7-0 against the Yankees and 6-1 and 6-5 against the Rangers last couple of games.
Yeah, the Royals are much better than they were early in the year. We thought they were headed for 100 losses. They might have thought the same thing back in April. But they're playing a lot better right now. They've got some younger players that they're working into their lineup. Their pitching has improved. Their bullpen is a little bit better. Their whole team overall is better. They're headed in the right direction, and they're a lot better than they were early in the season. The easiest way to say it.
That is Leo Nunez. He's only 23 years old, and he'll be facing this Ranger lineup today. That's brought to you by Southwest. You've got Catalanato leading off and DHing. Then Young, then Tex. And if there's a trade coming for Tex, well, remember, tomorrow's an off day. Tuesday's a night game. The trade deadline is 3 in the afternoon Tuesday. Could this be it for Mark Teixeira in Ranger Blue today? You've got Bird and Cruz, Wilkerson and Laird, Vasquez and Metcalf. The rest of the way for the Rangers. And let's scout out the skinny right-hander Leo Nunez.
Well, in his career, he's 6-2. His ERA is 6.72. All but one of those appearances was as a reliever. The one start came a couple of weeks ago, a spot start. That was at Boston. He pitched 4 pretty good innings in that game, only gave up 1 run. And the last point, 2-2, 185 in 11 minor league games this year. Got a late start, broke his wrist in spring training. Didn't really pitch until later on in May. Went on some rehab assignments, but he's pitched really well in the minor leagues. And evidently the Royals are trying to convert him into a starter when in parts of the last couple of years he's pitched for them only in relief.
Held AAA hitters to an opponent's batting average of just 170. And Frank Catalanato flies out. That is to Jesus in center. And the rest of the way defensively for Buddy Bell's team. First time we've seen Reggie Sanders in this series, a veteran. One of the many names on the trade block supposedly for the Royals. Jason LaRue, not John Buck, behind the plate. And again, the veteran, at least for today. Reggie Sanders out there in left field.
Well, it'll be interesting, Josh, to see if Tex gets traded, what happens after that, or if it goes down and it appears that Tex won't get traded, what happens right before the trade deadline, because it seems like there's a lot of teams that are looking for offense. A lot of them are probably holding out some hope that they could get a player like Tex. But if they don't, will the rest of the pieces start to fall in place too for some of the other offensive players who are available?
That's a heck of a play right there by Alex Gordon, sending Michael Young back to a 299 batting average off 300. Yeah, you know, with Tex about to come up here, I guess every time he's up today, Tom, we're going to kind of get the lay of the land regarding the possibilities for the Rangers. The first possibility to mention is kind of the unspoken one, is that he's not going anywhere. Now, the Rangers, as you said yesterday, they're not just going to take a deal just to make a deal.
No, there are worse things than to have Mark Teixeira, even if he's going to be a free agent for the next 2 months and all of next year. That's not a bad thing to have a player of his quality.
Tex loves the area. It's not like he's banging down the door saying, let me out.
I think the best thing, knowing that he can be a free agent, is what the Rangers are trying to do. Make a very good deal for the future to make yourself a better team, and do that right now. That's the ideal situation. But if it's not there, it's not there.
Arizona kind of a late entry into the mix. The Diamondbacks on an 8-game winning streak right now, so they've thrown their hat in the ring. And supposedly they've made an attractive offer that includes Connor Jackson. It would be a guy that could replace Tex at first. A couple of prospects in the deal as well. Atlanta's interested. The Angels are interested. Who knows who else is interested? We're not on the phone.
The worst case scenario is you trade Tex for the sake of trading him for an inferior talent package. That's the worst thing you can do.
Well, how about July of '98 when Randy Johnson left Seattle, and everybody in Seattle was all 6s and 7s about that. They got Freddie Garcia back. They got Carlos Guillen back. And John Halama. That's a pretty good 3-for-1 deal.
Well, that's what everybody's looking for to be able to do right now when you have a star player, is to get that kind of a package. Hopefully that's what you can do.
Nunez with the sign that he likes, and a high pop-up by Teixeira. Now 49 at bat since his last home run. That one ends up in the glove of LaRue. The Rangers go in order. It'll be Cam Lowe on the mound. When we come back, there is no score in Kansas City. Well, the Rangers did not score in the top of the first, and now Kansas City will try to get something done against Cam Lowe, who pitched here last year in a 16-12 ball game. Hoping not to see a repeat of that today. He's going to face DeJesus, Esteban Herman, and Alex Gordon, the top third of the Southwest Airlines batting order. Billy Butler had that 3-run first inning homer on Friday. Gload is in with a little bit of a hot streak to talk about, 7 games in a row. Mark Teahan, Reggie Sanders, Tony Pena Jr., and Jason LaRue, who is not hot. He's 0 for his last 20. And Tom, what of Cam Lowe of late?
Well, this season, his ERA is .559. Doesn't look that good, but as we've talked about a lot in the last month, it's gotten better. Tuesday against Seattle, I think that was a really good start for Cam because he finished strong. He threw 117 pitches in that game. I think he threw his best baseball the last inning and 2/3 of that game after he got over 100 pitches, and that was great to see. He battled. He wanted to stay in the ball game. Prior to that, he had 2 subpar performances. Prior to that, he had 5 really good performances. In those 5 games, he was 4-0. His ERA was 1.60. A little bit of a setback for 2 starts, but then I think he was right back where he wanted to be in his last start against Seattle.
Well, you saw the note about the ground ball ratio. The sinker, obviously, when it's on, the byproduct of all the sinkers would be a lot of ground balls. And a lot of them, Tag, seem to end up right back to Cam. That ball hangs in the air. Wilkerson closing on it. DeJesus is out. We'll talk in a moment about Cam trying to field his position a little bit better. I guess at 6'8". It's kind of tough to bend down and pick up ground balls sometimes.
Well, it's right. It's not as easy as it is for a 5'10" guy, but you can still get better at it. And I think the point that Ron Washington made, or Mark Connor, is a very valid one. If you're a sinker ball pitcher and you're going to get a lot of ground balls, you're going to get a chance to field your position more than a strikeout pitcher or a fly ball pitcher. And the better you are, the better your pitching is going to be, the better your performance is going to be. So the harder you work on your fielding, the better pitcher you're going to be. That makes sense. And I think Cam is doing that. Andy's getting better. I think their point is he needs to get even better.
Michael Young usually pretty good at getting ground balls too, and he takes care of Herman. Yeah, for what it's worth, Tom, Cam is 2nd in the American League among pitchers in assists. Nelson Cruz is good for an assist every once in a while too. He's got a cannon arm out there in right. And he is indeed in right field, not in left. Wilkerson's in left, Bird in center. I think you are going to see mostly Nelly Cruz RF in that lineup for the rest of the year. Marlon Byrd CF. Now that Kenny Lofton's in Cleveland, kind of a twofold thing there, Tom, where you had Byrd able to move in as the everyday center fielder, and that opens up the spot for somebody in right field. It looks like Nelly Cruz. That looks like another sinker that does what it's supposed to do. To Sherrod Lowe. And a nice, quick, easy 7-pitch inning for Cam. No score in Kansas City at the end of 1.
Okay, look, there's barbarians everywhere. It's very important. Focus. Eyes forward, chin up, all right? Okay. And storm the castle! Storm the castle! Storm the castle! All right, back to your original position. Back to the starting position.
Another perfect day at the park.
See the Rangers and A's August 8th. It's Dollar Hot Dog Night and Dr. Pepper Autograph Wednesday.
It is hot ticket time from now to the middle of the 3rd inning. Tickets in the Fox Box are $10 for the games against the Royals August 14 through 16. Normally that's a $23 ticket. It is offered right now for $10 if you call 972 Rangers. The Rangers are coming back home August the 6th, as a matter of fact. The Oakland A's will be the opponent at that time. Marlon Byrd, a wave and a miss. But between now and then, Tom, you've got well, you got the Cleveland Indians to take care of. You got the Toronto Blue Jays to take care of. And of course, today these Kansas City Royals and Leo Nunez, who's being asked to go only 85 or 90 pitches. And Buddy Bell, former Ranger great, now the Royals manager, saying yesterday, we'd love for that to mean 7 innings. not 3 for Leo Nunez.
Well, so far so good for Nunez. He's throwing a lot of strikes. I think the one thing the Royals have said about him this year compared to past years, he's a little bit stronger, a little bit more mature. He's only 23 years old. He was in the big leagues with the Royals when he was only 21 and 22 in relief appearances. So it, would stand to reason as you get to be 23, you get a little bit stronger, a little bit wiser, a little bit more confident. I think that's what they're seeing right now. They'd love for him to be able to develop into a starting pitcher. He's got a good arm. His fastball can reach 93, 94 miles an hour. Pretty good slider. Works on a circle changeup that he throws.
Marlon Byrd becomes the 4th consecutive Ranger out today.
They got him from Pittsburgh back in 2004. They traded Benito Santiago to Pittsburgh. Fractured his wrist, as we said, in spring training. Early in spring training. Didn't pitch, didn't start rehab till May 29th. So he hasn't had a lot of pitching this year at the minor league level to build up his arm strength, which is probably why they're going to keep him on some kind of a pitch count today. A little less than it normally would be.
Nelson Cruz, who had the 2-home run day yesterday, pops a fastball over to the second baseman, Herman. Didn't really have much of a chance to show you the new and improved stance right there for Nelly. We'll do that later on today. He's swinging away at the first pitch right there. But boy, Nelson, I think the combination of the stance and the confidence may be born out of that new stance. I mean, he comes up here, like you said, Tom, with 15 home runs, 45 batted in, and 45 AAA games down there. And yesterday, hitting 8th in the lineup, 2 homers, 5 runs batted in.
I think if the best thing that can happen is when you get called up from the minor leagues after playing really well is to have success like that right off the bat. It just kind of validates everything that's been happening in the minor leagues. And against Odalis Perez last night, he was pitching a pretty good ball game. No one else did anything against him. It gives you a pretty good feeling that, yeah, all that work was paying off, and I am ready to play in the big leagues. It's one thing to have the confidence and to think you can do it. It's another thing to get up there and do it, which he did last night.
Rangers coming up just short, 6-5. Had a couple on there in the 9th inning. Wilkerson sweeps it over to first. Nunez to the bag, and that is 6 up, 6 down now for the kid, Leo Nunez, 23-year-old. No base runners in this game yet, and obviously no score.
Para que salga el zap, y lo puede escuchar en español aquí en su canal 4 el día de hoy, en la voz de un servidor, Eren Ornelas. Gracias a la gente que sigue las transmisiones en español en el zap de su canal 4 de televisión este domingo. Bateando, aquí está Butler, el designado, con un strike en su cuenta rápido.
Gracias, Elena. We are underway in the bottom of inning 2, the Rangers and the Royals. Josh Lewin, Tom Grieve, producer Kurt Dykert, director Dave Burchett, Kelly Donaldson, Carla Janeway, the rest of our crew. And watching Cam Lowe to Billy Butler, a guy that blasted a 3-run home run out of here to right center on Friday night. And the long line of big bashers that the Royals tend to get up and out there. Guys like Bob Hamlin and Steve Bye-Bye Balboni. They've got Ryan Shealy on the team now. Billy Butler fits that realm very well. 6'1", 242. Kind of flicking that one towards right. Nelson Cruz is there. Cam Lowe, can't ask for much better than this, I guess, Tom. He's thrown only 10 pitches. He's got 4 outs.
Yeah, both pitchers have been very efficient. Leo Nunez has had 6 up, 6 down.
Texas starters here on this road trip so far, Tag. 9 innings pitched total in 2 games, giving up 11 runs. So I'm sure the bullpen would appreciate it if Cam Lowe could go deep into the game today.
Yeah, it definitely was not a good start for Kevin Millwood yesterday, and he said after the game he just couldn't throw the ball where he wanted to throw it, and that's exactly what it looked like.
Hitting the 2 batters back-to-back with 2 out in the 2nd inning. Baltimore chop. And no play at second base for Vasquez. He overran it, and believe it or not, without the ball leaving the infield, that's a double. You might never see that again. Kind of a do-or-die play for Vasquez right there, and he died.
Beat it right into the ground, and it was a high chopper. The pitcher couldn't get it. If Vasquez lays back on it, at least he could have held him to a single, but he wouldn't have been able to make the play at first base. It's a sinker away, and Vasquez goes after it, and if he picks it somehow, he would have made the play at first base. If he waits for it to bounce, it would have been an infield hit, and that would have been better than a double.
There were 3 options on that play, and Vasquez unwittingly chose door number 3, which had the Rice-A-Roni.
Yeah, I don't know that I have seen this, Josh. A chopper.
Baltimore chopped double.
That stops running, stops rolling before it gets to the grass, and ends up as a double.
Normally when you see a guy sliding in the infield, his back isn't to the plate. And for Glow, that's a weird way to extend a hitting streak. He's got an 8-game hit streak now. Very odd way to lose a no-hit bid in the 2nd inning, too.
Well, if Ross's parents aren't watching the game on TV and they pick up the paper tomorrow, they're going to see double. The dad's going to think, man, he probably roped one into the gap in right center field, short hopped the wall.
Boy, Junior's just stinging the ball.
Hey, Ross, I saw you had a double. Where'd you hit it? Actually hit it with ground ball to second.
I hit it directly down off home plate.
Oh, well, nice running, son.
All right, since we threw out the phrase Baltimore chop, we should get you back to Baltimore in general today. The Baltimore Orioles great Cal Ripken being inducted into the Hall of Fame today. There is a fun geographical note about that, Tom. Where Cal is from, Havre de Grace, Maryland, the Susquehanna River begins in Havre de Grace and ends about 100 yards from the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. So the direct pipeline right from where Cal was born right to where he belongs, the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and he's in there officially today. Line shot left center field by Tian. That's going to get the Royals a 1-0 lead. Tian trading places with Glode. Now the Royals once again able to get on top.
That was a 3-1 curveball, which is not a bad idea. Problem was it hung. That's right down the center of the plate. The absolute worst place that you'd want to throw that curveball. You get it down on a 3-1 pitch. Batter's looking for a fastball. Maybe get him to swing at a pitch. But you don't have to be looking for a curveball to hit that pitch. You know, the other night that Jamie Wright gave the home run to Butler on a hanging curveball, he said after the game that Butler was sitting on that curveball. I don't think he was sitting on a curveball. He just got a pitch he couldn't miss. A hitter can look for a fastball and hit a slower pitch that's waist high and right out over the plate. That doesn't take Ty Cobb to be able to do that. Now, if he hits a nasty curveball down and away like he knew it was coming, that's a little bit different story, but not a hanger.
Reggie Sanders takes outside, and you know, it's funny, Tom, as we were talking about Cal Ripken. Reggie Sanders, a guy that has bounced from organization to organization, has been on the DL 15 times in his career. Even though he's a great player, he might be in that realm the exact opposite of Cal Ripken. Can't play in more than 10 games in a row, and he keeps changing teams. Although the moving around thing has allowed him to have kind of a Forrest Gump-like presence at a lot of great events. The 2001 World Series, Barry Bonds and the 0-2 Giants, also in the World Series.
It's amazing what a chopper to second base can do to change the whole complexion of the game early in it for Cam.
Yeah.
He had 4 straight outs, little ground ball to second. Turns out it's a fluky hop. It ends up as a double, then a hanging curveball for an RBI double, and now you're behind 3-0. All of a sudden you've turned what looked like 5 straight outs into a little bit of a rally here just by that one little chopper.
And Sanders still a dangerous hitter at this late stage in his career. .314 batting average here in 07. He's going to check and take ball 4. As I'm sure Ron Washington has got to be thinking at least a little bit right now. You got One sliver of good news in that the way Cam Sinker's been moving lately, you are one ground ball away here from getting out of the inning right now. And Tony Pena Jr. is a hitter. He's a guy that seldom is up there very long, hacks away. He went from May 6th until 2 days ago, Tom, without drawing a walk. That's that's pretty incredible.
Now, to really be an effective offensive player and hit somewhere in the lineup other than ninth, he's going to have to improve on that. Either that or he's going to have to become a 320 hitter. And when you're a 284 hitter and you never walk, your on base percentage is going to be so low, it's going to be hard for you to really be a productive offensive player.
Pena turns and fouls it, and the scramble is on for the Souvenir.
Right now, Pena is a 284 hitter, but his on base percentage is only right about 30%. And it's hard to, unless you're hitting for power, an on base percentage of 30% gets you about a 9th place spot in the order.
His dad could swing the bat a little bit. Now a coach for the New York Yankees is Tony Pena Sr. And used to manage these Kansas City Royals, of course. Now it is the former Ranger fan favorite Buddy Bell. As we've talked about, Tom, you sure do root for Buddy, who's been managing now 3 different major league teams, total of 9 years, has had only 1 winning season, and that one was 82-80. Runners are both going, and Pena slugs it to left center field. Now Cam wanted the ball down and didn't quite get it there. Sanders hobbling towards the plate, and he is going to score. It's a 2 RBI double.
Oh, when you hit the ball like that, you don't have to worry about how many times you walk.
Yeah.
Line double, 380 feet into the gap, 2 runs scored, and again, you go back to that little ground ball to second base, and there's no doubt that that changed Cam's mindset in a way that's affected his pitches. He hung the curveball, got the sinker up. It didn't move very much. Both of those doubles have been hit hard, and now instead of 5 up, 5 down, there's only 1 out and 3 runs are in. 3 doubles and a walk out of the last 4 hitters.
So the Royals just keep getting it done with runners in scoring position, Tag. They are 11 of 22 in this series. And you juxtapose that against the failures that the Rangers have had. They got that home run from Nelly Cruz yesterday in the 9th. But other than that, they are 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. Jason LaRue, the backup catcher, getting a chance to play on a Sunday today. 0 for his last 20. LaRue's a native Texan. Used to hang out with Adam Dunn's brother Jason. Smithson Valley High School, then Dallas Baptist University. That's where the Twins' Lou Ford went as well. And the Twins, one of the teams we're kind of charting today, Tag, because they are in Cleveland, trailing the Indians 1-0 at last check in the 4th inning. The Indians and the Tigers look like the top dogs in the AL Central. We keep waiting for Minnesota to make a move, but they're 8 back. Tigers and Indians within a half a game of each other. Looks like the real good race is the NL West, where the surging Diamondbacks, they've won 8 straight. They're now tied for first with the Dodgers. You got the Padres a game and a half out, and even Colorado hanging in there, just 4 back in the loss column. Missing with the curve again, 2-2. Meantime, the Rangers and the Royals, we mentioned they've got pretty similar records, either 11 or 12 games under 500. I kind of a half a dozen teams, Tag, in the majors right now in that exact situation, being either 11 or 12 under 500. And some of those names on the list I think are kind of surprising. Houston's on the list, 46-58, same record as the Rangers. The White Sox, the World Series champs of 2 years ago, very similar record. And Barry Bonds' San Francisco Giants also 12 games under. In the air from LaRue, that ball jumping near the track. Wilkerson is there, and that is out number 2. We've seen the Royals pound 3 doubles in this inning, Tom, and as you check the forward leaderboard, you can see that this is not exactly a blip on the radar. The Royals are indeed coming on. And as you said, they are a much improved looking team the last couple of months. It looked like in April and May it was going to be the same old, same old. These guys haven't been in the playoffs since 1985. They've been above 500 just once since 1994. Hey. David DeJesus was on base the first 7 times he batted in this series. Looking to get on base right here by sending one up the right center alley. The 4th extra base hit of the inning for the Royals.
You talk about a dramatic turnaround in a game.
Boy.
Through 5 hitters, it looked like Cam was throwing the ball really well. And then he started to get the ball up. Hasn't been able to keep the sinker down. He hung a curveball. Now in the inning, there's been 4 doubles. DeJesus hit the ball pretty well his last time up. He lined it to Wilkerson. This time, he pulls it kind of against the shading toward left center field. Playing him the other way, and he was able to pull the ball. Allowed him to get a double instead of a single.
There's been a big deal made about how the Rangers, Tom, have been outscored by a bunch in the first inning this year, but the second inning's been even worse. 74-36. The Rangers have been outscored in the second, and the fact that they've been outscored 72-40 in the first inning, I guess what that adds up to, that's a lot of times you're digging yourself a pretty big hole. You're putting a lot of pressure on your hitters at that point. Fouled by Herman, 0-2. Herman, briefly a Ranger a couple of years ago. Had a terrific year and kind of a short sample for the Royals last year. He hit .326. Line shot to a leaping Mark Teixeira, and finally Cam Lowe is out of the inning. He needed only 7 pitches in the first, but threw 28 in the second, and it's 4-0.
The police often question him just because they find him interesting. His beard alone has experienced more than a lesser man's entire body. His blood smells like cologne. He is the most interesting man in the world.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. Stay thirsty, my friends.
The City of Fountains, Kansas City, Missouri. Folks, you can join us for the Dr. Pepper Rangers Hall of Fame luncheon coming up Friday, August the 10th at the Arlington Hilton. Rusty Greer will be honored, and your presence is cordially invited at 972 Rangers. The number to call to get your tickets, or you can go to TexasRangers.com. Well, those fountains seem especially refreshing, Tag, when the humidity is 192%.
Yeah, if you were sitting in them.
You can hear them out there, too, if you're in the outfield. You don't exactly have a sold-out house today. The fans have been relatively quiet, so listen to the rhythm of the bubbling fountains. There's the ball to Gerald Laird, 2-1. Gerald's got a modest little hit streak going. Trying to get that batting average back into the 240s, and that's a start as
That'll
he pegs
help.
one right center field. And Gerald wheels past first, and then remembering his team is down 4, he's not going to chance it out there at second base. So Nunez had retired the first 6 Rangers, but now Laird comes through.
Got a nice batch of cookies from Molly Schrader from Richardson, Texas. University Michigan class of 1954.
Oh, right
she
on.
also mentioned she thinks your band is great.
Wow, that's nice.
She brought them on the plane with her. She's here visiting her son and daughter-in-law.
She brought the band on the plane?
No, she brought the cookies on the plane,
Oh.
but her son was a junior Ranger way back when, first year in Arlington. Big Ranger fans, thank you very much, Molly.
Always appreciate the baked goods, absolutely. Here's Laird's hitting streak at 9 right now. Well, Vasquez the hitter, and you know, again, not anything that's going to show up in the box score, Tom, but the do or die play that he tried to make on that Baltimore chop in the second inning, that really opened the floodgates. Ball getting under his glove. It led to a 4-run inning. Vasquez towards center. Travis Metcalf will come up, and boy, for Travis, you know he wants to make something happen, Tom. He's got the friends and family here from his little hometown of Wamego, which is about an hour and a half west of here. His mom, Andy, in the red shirt right there. She's been at other Ranger games besides this one, but this is essentially a home game for her.
She's trying to take a deep breath and relax, but it's hard.
I bet. Travis got the call to join the Rangers when the team was in Houston back in May. What a thrill to make that phone call for Travis. Let the family know, hey, I've been called up, not from AA to AAA, but I'm going straight on AA to the Texas Rangers. Metcalf sends it to center field to Jesus, going back to the track, making the catch.
Boy, he hit the ball 410 feet. Dead center field. The one part of the ballpark where you can't hit a ball 410 feet and get a home run is dead center here.
It's a supportive mom you saw there, though.
Well, you got to pitch out over the plate, hit the ball hard. But you just had the feeling DeJesus had it timed all the way.
Well, Travis was some kind of hot coming into this series. Now, the guy that just made that strike call, Todd Tichenor, is another hometown kind of story tag. He's from Holcomb, Kansas, which is about 4 hours from here, out near Garden City, Kansas. But it's the first time he's worked home plate in Kansas City. And this, you know, a guy that grew up near enough to Kansas City. The Royals were his team growing up. Family would come in every once in a while to see the Royals when they were really good back in the mid-'80s. So a thrill for the home plate umpire today, too. Holcomb, Kansas, some of you might know, the site of the Truman Capote Classic in Cold Blood, about that murder of the Clutter family. Todd Tichenor is the second most famous thing to come out of Holcomb, Kansas. Oh, 2 from Nunez to the Cat is down too low. Rangers giving Sammy Sosa the day off today, so Cat able to DH. And again, with Kenny Lofton having been traded to Cleveland, Catalinato makes a little bit of sense at the top of the order for now until Ian Kinsler comes back. Tag Ron Washington says that Ian Kinsler will get some time at the leadoff spot. DeJesus will be tested out again.
Got him popping the ball up. A lot of fly balls.
Well, that's 5 putouts already for DeJesus in center field. Nunez, again, we said he'd throw about 85 or 90 pitches. But the way he's going at it today, that could be a complete game. Not the best day ever for Major League Baseball in the Lone Star State tag. It is 4-0 here. And let me clue you into what's going on with the Astros today. They're in the second inning. And the Padres, buoyed by an 11-run top of the first, are leading 12-0 in the second now. Jason Jennings, lasting 2/3 of an inning, gave up 11 earned runs on 8 hits and 3 walks.
That'll do wonders for your ERA. Talk about setting the tone for a miserable game.
Boy. Now there's Cam Lowe establishing again with that sinker right away, hopefully showing that it was just a little wrinkle in the fabric there in the bottom of the second inning. Gordon quickly the first out. We were told that yesterday, Tom, just in terms of Major League Baseball in general, a great day for the sport yesterday. More people attended Major League Baseball games yesterday. More than 717,000 people than in any other single day ever.
Wow, and they had a day that we mentioned last week, which was the second highest total. So the highest 2 totals have been in the last 10 days.
An average of 42,000 per game at big league ballparks yesterday. And, you know, we thought it was a great crowd here in Kansas City yesterday, close to 28,000. That might have been the low. If the average across the board was 42,000 yesterday. Butler sending one towards center. Bird turns around on it, 2 away.
Well, you hear people talk about baseball's declining interest in baseball and how other sports are overtaking baseball. I mean, it's such a bunch of baloney when you're going to baseball games every day and you see last place teams drawing 35,000, 28,000. Great fan interest here in Kansas City. We see it at our ballpark. Then you hear that it's the all-time single-day attendance record. One week, the next week it's broken again. Television interest has never been higher.
Well, I mean,
I don't get exactly what the complaint is against Major League Baseball. Seems like it's never been more popular.
Ross Claude, ground ball scooting to the right side. Another base hit. He's the guy that started the rally last inning. Well, for me, you know, I guess my generation tag, I mean, I'm 38 now, and, you know, one of my first big baseball memories was 1975. The Red Sox and Reds in that World Series. I remember staying up late to watch Carlton Fisk waving the ball fair in the World Series. And, you know, you and I have had this conversation before, I think, but in 1975, that year, no American League team drew 2 million. Only the first place Red Sox even topped 1.3 million. But last year, every American League team except Tampa Bay was above 1.3 million. And in many cases, it was 2 and 3 times 1.3 million. And I just remember when I was, you know, 7, 8 years old and watching that World Series, all I heard was baseball is in a golden age right now. This is great. You know, you'll never have stars like this again. Johnny Bench and Carl Yastrzemski and all these guys. And well, there's a new wave of stars. There's a lot more people going to ball games now than 30 years ago.
It doesn't matter what the sport is or really what the endeavor in life is. You can never say there will never be blah, blah, blah again, because there always will be something like that again. Records will always be broken.
Well, how about
players will always get better. They'll get faster. They'll get bigger. They'll throw harder. They'll throw more touchdown passes. They'll kick longer field goals. They'll make more three-pointers. Whatever it is, it's always going to get better.
Well, you know, it's interesting with Cal Ripken going into the Hall of Fame today. What does it say on Lou Gehrig's plaque out there in Monument Park? It says, here's a record that will stand for all of time, the Iron Man record.
Well, they thought that at the time, but
sure, why wouldn't they? But
there was always going to be records broken.
Chop ball near short. Michael Young up with it. Teixeira's on the bag. And that is that here in the bottom of the third. Cam Lowe back to where he needs to be. Only 8 pitches needed to get through it. And it stays 4-0. Royals with that 4-run second, leading 4-0 in this copyrighted telecast. He is presented by authority of the Rangers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Texas Rangers Baseball Club. It is a hot, humid afternoon in Kansas City, Missouri. And Leo Nunez, boy, he's pitching well so far, Tom. 3 innings, just the 1 hit allowed. He needed only 32 pitches to get through 3 innings. Michael Young, line shot to second base. You know, yesterday, Odalis Perez went 6 innings for Buddy Bell's team, did not walk a batter. That was kind of a big thing. And Nunez falls into that same thing so far today. No walks. If you're just joining us, yes, Mark Teixeira is still a Ranger. The trade deadline is Tuesday, 3 o'clock Central Time.
Got a nice voice message from a man that asked about Sid Hudson and the role that he used to play in the Ranger and Senator organization. So I thought I'd just mention that for him and
sure.
Other people that might be interested. Sid, of course, was an excellent pitcher. He's from Waco, Texas. Excellent pitcher for the Washington Senators. One of the best pitchers in the American League, as a matter of fact. Went to work for the Senators as a major league pitching coach under Ted Williams. He's been a minor league pitching instructor. He was a scout for a long time with the Rangers. In fact, he was the pitching coach at our rookie league team in Sarasota that I was involved with back in 1981 when Kenny Rogers first signed, and had a lot to do with helping develop Kenny as a pitcher when he was right out of high school. Also one of the nicest gentlemen you'll ever meet, whether it's baseball or any other walk of life. I haven't seen Sid in a couple of years. He lives down in Waco with his wife Marion, has a number of children and grandchildren, and so I'm sure all the people in Waco are aware of Sid. And for those of you who may not have known as much about Sid Hudson, I'm glad I could tell you about him. He is a great guy.
Very cool. Tex taking outside 1 and 2. No relation to Charlie Hudson, right?
No relation to Charlie Hudson. No. Or Rock Hudson, for that matter.
The 1-2 pitch. Got him.
One of those hanging sliders that you see it spin, you think it's going to break back over the plate, you swing at it, it just kind of stays up and away like that. Pitchers call that a backup slider. It never really curves into the strike zone, but it fools the hitter. You could throw that on purpose every now and then, you'd have a great pitch, but it just kind of slips out of your hand in a way. It's not exactly what you're trying to do, but it worked out okay that time for him.
And Teixeira now 0 for 2. We were talking, Tag, about the potential destinations for Tex if he is indeed going anywhere. One of the teams we haven't really talked about, although you hear it mentioned a lot, is Atlanta. And you know, it was about what, I guess it was 14 Julys ago at the trade deadline that the Braves, looking for offense, went out and got Fred McGriff. If you go to baseballreference.com, terrific website, they have a little mechanism there where you can compare players at, you know, the exact same age. Mark Teixeira at the age of 27, who's the most similar player when another player was 27? The answer is Fred McGriff. Both hitting around 280, about 150 home runs for their careers at that time. And I think the people in Atlanta starting to get excited because they're thinking, wow, if Teixeira can be the kind of catalyst Fred McGriff was. Remember, the Braves made McGriff the cornerstone of their batting order for a few years and won all those NL East titles.
I think the big difference is I think Tex has potential to be even better than Freddie McGriff. Number one, McGriff was a decent first baseman. Tex is a Gold Glove first baseman, so defensively he's better. For sure. He's a switch hitter, which I think gives him a little bit of an advantage against certain left-handed pitchers who might have given McGriff a problem. But just to be compared to Fred McGriff, if that's exactly what Tex is, that's pretty good. I think he'd be even better than that for Atlanta.
Then to have to endorse those Tom Amansky hitting videos,
too. What does he say in that? Right at the end when he points at the camera?
You know, I've seen it literally 10,000 times. I can't remember either. If it's good enough,
I endorse this product or something like that.
I think that's it. I'm fill in the blank and I endorse blank.
Not sure what it is, but I like it.
I think Fred was also in on the blue blockers sunglasses thing there for a while too, if I remember.
I'm waiting to see the next video for that same instruction that shows all those kids with the exact same swing, the exact same fielding stance, and how many of them actually are playing in the big leagues today. They all look like big leaguers, I know that.
I think it is time to update the celebrity endorser though for that.
Yeah.
That product.
Yeah, a little more up to date. Like maybe try to get Tex, as you say, get Tex to do it.
I'm Mark Teixeira, and I heartily endorse this product, whatever it is. Fouled back by Bird.
I'm Mark Teixeira, and if it's good enough for Fred McGriff, it's good enough for me.
Now, did you, back in the day, did you endorse things for the, hi, I'm Tom Grieve of the Rangers, and I like this suit?
I would have if I'd been asked to. I don't think anybody cared what I liked.
We got to get you an endorsement deal. I'm Tom Grieve for hummus. Anita Bryant had orange juice for all those years. We can get you hummus.
There are some products I wouldn't endorse no matter what the money was. I can't say what they are, but.
Do they rhyme with Twinkies?
I'm not saying. One is a certain car manufacturer.
Oh, well, don't say that.
I will not mention that.
All right. Here's a 10th pitch to Marlon Bird. He'll send it to right field, going back on a tee, and still going back. He stabs it.
Whatever the Rangers do hit hard in this series is going right at somebody, or else somebody's running it down.
Wow. I'm Marlon Bird for hitting the ball hard and getting nothing to show for it. It's 4-0 Kansas City.
I gotta take this.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Chucky Brown missing 2 free throws. Out to Smith. Brown 11.7 rebounds in the contest. Smith lost it going inside. Now it's Martin. Blew the dunk. Ball tipped away by Smith.
Life comes at you fast. With our select coverage options, a Nationwide agent can tailor a home policy just for you. So switch to Nationwide today.
Nationwide is on your side.
Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Dodge, your Texas truck stop. And for the record, Tom Grieve has no problem with the Dodge Corporation.
No, I don't think they make the cars that I'm talking about anymore.
It's
not a U.S. car either.
All right, good. The Royals have a 4-0 lead as the Dodge continues to spin. And Reggie Sanders continues to play ball at an advanced age. And the question becomes, will he still be playing it for the Royals in a couple of days? He's one of those veteran hitters, kind of like a Jeff Conine, that always seems to be talked about at this time of the summer. Could he help a contending team? I don't know, like a Milwaukee, maybe, Tom. The Rangers can look at Milwaukee and see a team that's trying to build from within, but add parts as necessary, and I think that's how the Rangers would probably like to go at it. Vasquez behind the bag. Sanders is out.
Yeah, well, they've got some building blocks. They were all high #1 draft choices, but they made them click with Prince Fielder, with Ricky Weeks, Ryan Braun, J.J. Hardy. I don't believe he was a first-round pick, but I think he was a second-round pick. So, I mean, they're all high draft choices. They all clicked, and it's their infield. And they're in kind of a tough situation right now. Doug Melvin wanted a trade to help them. He's kind of boxed in because who do you trade for? You're committed to playing the young players, so you really can't bench them or send them out or trade them. And you almost have to watch that kind of a team develop at its own pace, unless you want to start to break it up and trade some of the pieces. He's tried to add a relief pitcher. Got Linebrink from San Diego, and I'm sure that's going to help him.
Did I see they got Seth McClung too?
I don't know. I didn't see that.
Did I dream that?
They might have.
I've been having weird dreams lately. Maybe I just dreamt that Seth McClung's a Brewer.
That would be a pretty random dream.
Yeah, it really would, wouldn't it?
Might be something to it.
Dreamt I had a 5-pound marshmallow, and I woke up and my pillow was gone. 1-1 to Pena. The Brewers today trying to get a win in St. Louis. They're up 1-0 in the third. Near third, and there is Metcalf at the line. That'll make Mama proud right there. That's a terrific play on a fast runner.
Well, Travis said he gets more upset when he makes a defensive mistake because he feels so confident right now in his defense. He's getting more and more confident offensively, but defensively he expects to make every play, and when he doesn't, that upsets him more than making an out at bat. And it's what the Rangers said about him. We had, of course, seen him coming up from Double-A, but the scouting report was, will develop as a hitter. and get better and better, but right now he's ready to play defense at the major league level, and that's pretty much been exactly the case. He is getting better and better with a bat, and he's making all the plays defensively. Really taking advantage of his opportunity, and the Rangers are getting to look at him too. Because of the injury to Hank, no one wants to see Hank out of the lineup, but with Hank out of the lineup, one of the things you get is maybe 150 or 200 at-bats for Travis, and you get a little bit better idea how he will develop as a major leaguer. That's a good thing.
Blaylock expected back sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. That's the hope. Ian Kinsler is expected back as early as Tuesday, which means diminished playing time for Ramon Vasquez and even Jerry Hairston Jr. at second. And certainly Desi Relaford might start to think about what's next at that point. And boy, LaRue, the number 9 batter, draws a walk. It's a guy who's over his last 21 and batting 9th. But he walks to bring up DeJesus.
You know, when you get to the last month of the season and you're not going to compete for postseason play, it makes sense to give all your young players who you think can figure into your long-range plans and who are ready to compete at the big league level a chance to play. And I'm sure Jason Botts is going to be one of them before too long. It doesn't make any sense to end the season and still wonder about guys like Jason Botts or Nelly Cruz. It only makes sense to let them play at the big leagues and see what they can do. And so for guys who are more marginal as far as potential to play every day in the big leagues, or as far as what their long-range plans are with a team, it's going to probably hurt their playing time a little bit. But that's baseball with every team.
One strike pitch to DeJesus, missing outside, 1-1. Tom, I got a Ranger fan today we should be saying hello to on her birthday. Jean Rowe watches every game in Arlington, and she is celebrating a birthday today. The Rowe family wanted us to make sure we wished her a happy birthday. Happy to do that. Hopefully Jean will see a Ranger rally as the afternoon wears on. Leo Nunez has been very good for Kansas City, as he was against Boston in that emergency start a couple weeks ago. But it sure looks like he'll go longer than 4 innings. That's what he did at Fenway. On the corner to DeJesus. Cubs have a 4-0 lead in Cincinnati in the 7th inning, Tom, so that puts more pressure on the Brewers to keep their lead going in St. Louis. Cubs picked up a game and a half on Milwaukee yesterday. Got him. Cam Lowe strikes out DeJesus, who's been a very tough out in this series.
That's where he wants to keep that curveball. You keep it down there, you'll have good success.
Royals lead 4-0. Now the Rangers lost 6-5 yesterday. They're trailing 4-0 today. Yesterday was a Nelson Cruz show, though, Tag, and it's fun to kind of compare and contrast Nelly 2.0 to what was here before he was sent down to AAA to rework some things. And we can look right here at one of the things he's reworked.
Yeah, fortunately, in our library, we can show what he looked like before. On the left, more of a closed stance, and as the pitch comes, he just lifts up the heel, sets it back down, and swings. Now with a more open stance, he feels like he's facing the pitcher more, seeing the ball better, and then he steps into the pitch and swings the bat. As far as his swing goes and where he looks as he's making contact with ball, looks the exact same. But as he gets into the hitting position, how he gets there is a little bit different, and it seems to have really worked for him.
Muscles that one up in the air. That's a fastball that time from Nunez. Another put-out opportunity for DeJesus. The thing that Ron Washington was saying about Nelly and the adjustment that he made, Wash saying it's really helped him stay back on the off-speed stuff, on breaking balls. And the fact, you know, that Nelly actually took a couple of changeups, recognized them yesterday. They preceded each of the home runs, taking a changeup. And that was kind of Wash's concern from the old version of Nelly Cruz. He either wouldn't recognize that pitch or couldn't adjust to it. Wilkerson takes low here, 1-0. That's quite a journey, though, for Nelson Cruz, Tom. He goes from being in AAA to coming up here and not playing to getting in the lineup batting 8th. to getting in the lineup and hitting 5th today.
Well, that's what 2 home runs will do for you. And Sammy's not in the lineup today, so that kind of opens up a spot in the middle of the lineup. So when you look at the 9 guys that Wash has in the lineup today, somebody has to hit 5th.
Mm-hmm.
And with Tex hitting 3rd and Bird hitting 4th, there aren't many other candidates, to be honest with you.
Wilkerson 2nd on the team in home runs with 15. He had 3 of them in 1 game. That against the Angels on July the 3rd. The Angels as a team, Tom, have hit 6 home runs the entire month of July. Wilkerson takes a walk, the first allowed by Nunez today. And, you know, that stat about the Angels, that probably tells you all you need to know about why they would be making offers apparently for Mark Teixeira.
They're probably making them for Mark Teixeira. They're probably making them for some of the other power threats that are available. But they definitely need to get somebody. And if you're in the market and you feel like you've got the players and you got a little bit of depth, why not shoot for the best?
Bill Stoneman, the GM in Anaheim, a guy that I think you and I both, Tom, you said it yesterday and I echo it. I mean, just a very respected baseball man. And he's not going to make a deal just to make a deal. But, I mean, he's been hearing for years from that fan base, hey, why aren't you doing more? Why don't you make trades at the trade deadline? It's a tough position to be in, boy, I would think. Are you in or are you out? And if you're in, boy, you got to be sure you're making a deal that makes sense down the road.
Well, the thing is, they're in as far as being a contender. They've got a 4-game lead right now. And what they need to do is they have to make sure that their offense is strong enough that they can maintain that lead, get into postseason play, and when they do, that they've got enough offense to compete against the outstanding teams that'll be in postseason play and the good pitching that they'll have. So a guy like Tex, who's a proven run producer, a switch hitter, who hits all the best pitchers, having him in the middle of the lineup is an opportunity to really improve your team in a big way.
That's a great point. I mean, because at some point in the playoffs, you're going to get probably the Red Sox or somebody like that. You're going to face Josh Beckett. You're going to face Daisuke. Face a guy like Curt Schilling, who will come back and be healthy. And it's one thing to beat up on the Devil Rays right now and score your 9 runs on a bunch of doubles. Nunez, who remember hadn't walked a batter all game, walked Wilkerson, was 3-0 on Laird. Now it's 3-1.
I would think what clouds the picture a little bit for the Angels, just like the Dodgers, is the fact that Irvin Santana was ineffective and sent to the minor leagues. Bartolo Colon has not pitched very well. That's 40% of their rotation right there.
That ball hammered foul by Laird.
So they definitely need a bat, but I think they have to wonder if they need pitching too, and can they afford to give up a pitcher like Saunders, who's in their rotation right now. Dustin Mosley's back in the rotation. He's been pitching in middle relief. There's always questions. I don't care who your team is nowadays. You've always got some questions. Do you have enough starters? Is the bullpen deep enough? Do you need that one big bat? Every team has those questions, no matter how good you are. Very few teams are saying, our phones are shut off during the trade deadline.
Don't call us.
We are so good, we cannot use any help. Don't even bother asking us. And we like all our minor league players, so we don't want to give you anybody we've got. Nobody's that good. So there's always a deal to be made out there.
In the Simpsons movie, I'm assuming you're maybe going to see it at some point. Okay.
I made a commitment to see that movie.
I'm not giving anything away because it's in the trailer. There's a big dome that comes down and sits on top of Springfield, and there's a resident of the town. There's a dome that's coming down. Should I be on this side of the dome or that side? What should I do? Am I in or am I out? He got squashed by the dome because he did nothing. And Laird lining one again down the line, and it curls foul. But the point of that rather random anecdote is that, you know, I think if you're an Angels fan, you just want to know, all right, what are we doing? Are we, you know, both feet in terms of standing pat? Is this our plan? Is this where we're going? Do we have enough? Or do we need to get the guys that you're saying? And let's just, you know, I guess what the Angels fans are, as a collective, kind of voicing right now is let's just do something, because usually we don't do anything in July.
I don't think anybody with the baseball side of the Angels
There's a base hit for Laird. Rangers have 2 on suddenly with just 1 out.
Is saying that we don't need anything else. They recognize they want to improve the team. They want to make a deal. Just a matter of, are they willing to give up what the other teams want? That's what will have to be determined.
And I think you make a great point too. I mean, if Cologne was really Cologne right now and Santana was pitching well, all that pitching depth that they've hoarded and trumpeted the last few years, yeah, maybe you've got some runoff that you can send somewhere else. But if Cologne's not okay, if Santana doesn't bounce back, you might need that pitching depth for yourself right now, and you don't want to deal it. Well, here are the Rangers with a great chance to get right back in it. Nunez for the first time is wobbly out there today. Walking a single following the line or the fly out by Nelson Cruz. If the Rangers can come back and win today, Tag, they would have secured a winning month of July. And for whatever reason, the Rangers in winning Julys have not been partners with each other. Only 2 of the last 12 Julys have the Rangers had a winning record. Today, the Rangers allowing 4 runs in the bottom of the 2nd inning. It all started with a chop ball, a Baltimore chop from Ross Glode. Got under the glove of this guy, Ramon Vazquez. Had an infield double that led to 3 more conventional doubles and eventually 4 runs in the inning.
Now, the Rangers were in the game yesterday all the way. They waited till right at the end to score again, but it was a 3-run game throughout the middle innings. And they couldn't get a hit when they needed it, when they had a little rally going. And let's hope that that's going to come to an end today. Get some rallies and start scoring some runs and get back in the game. 4 runs is not insurmountable. It's not like the Royals have Mariano Rivera at the end of the game and the Yankee bullpen or the Angel bullpen or the Red Sox bullpen. You should be able to peck away, score some runs, and get back in this game if Cam and the bullpen can hold it right where it is.
Well, if they get 1 in each inning the rest of the way, they win 5-4.
You just can't waste the opportunities. And so far in this series, the Rangers have not cashed in when they've had the opportunity.
Up and outside, you've got the hometown kid on deck, Travis Metcalf. Well, the Rangers, they've done a nice job of working the count in this inning. There were a lot of quick innings before this 5th. Runners go, and Vazquez pops it up. Soaring pop up for Gordon over there. Infield fly rule in effect. He's got the baseball. 2 down. Well, that's too bad because that was a nice long at bat for Vazquez. He hung in there, but Nunez wins out.
And for the most part, Nunez has had just enough on his fastball to keep the Rangers from getting the bat on the ball at the optimum point in time. They've been a little bit behind. He's gotten the ball in on them just enough. They've hit some balls pretty well, but they haven't really centered one the way they're capable of. I think his fastball is just a little bit sneaky for him, and a little bit more than they've been able to handle so far. So maybe like he's blowing them away by striking them out, but they're not really getting out in front of him.
Well, maybe the best hit baseball so far is off the bat of this guy, Travis Metcalf. He lined that one deep to center field.
Yeah, he just picked the wrong part of the park to hit it to.
Chopper, third base, Gordon to Herman to end the inning. Well, the Rangers still having a big issue with runners in scoring position. 1 out of 17 in the series. And it's 4-0 Royals today.
It's my car.
Life comes at you fast.
Don't worry. With our exclusive nationwide Blue Ribbon claim services, your car will be fixed right after an accident. We can even guarantee the repairs and writing for as long as you own the car.
Nationwide is on your side.
Hey, the Rangers are hosting 2- and 3-day elite baseball camps for kids aged 9 to 12 at the Dr. Pepper Youth Ballpark. Your child will receive professional instruction by the great Jim Sundberg. You can meet current and former Rangers as well. For information, go to TexasRangers.com. And boy, you talk about a guy with a soft touch with the kids. That would be former Royals great, former Rangers great, Mr. Jim Sundberg. So do indeed go on the website for information. We looked at Steve Busby and the love that he received yesterday here, Tom, the Steve Busby bobblehead night. And Jim Sundberg, still a very popular name here in Kansas City as well. Of course, the Rangers now fortunate enough to say that those guys are Texans. Lowe to Herman for strike one. You got one bloody inning for Cameron Lowe, that second inning. Otherwise, you're looking at a scoreless baseball game today. Sinker gets a ground ball. Herman is out. On the scoreboard, Tom, Cleveland still leading Minnesota 1-0. CC Sabathia 10 strikeouts so far. That's through 7. The Yankees trying to get back in the race in the AL East. They've got a 4-0 lead in Baltimore today. The Yankees, with Roger Clemens on the mound yesterday, lost to Baltimore. Boston with a 6-run 12th inning yesterday beat Tampa Bay 12-6. Today those two teams are scoreless in the 5th. Strike to Gordon on the corner. You've got Toronto and the White Sox scoreless in the 6th inning today. And Tom, possibly, I'm not saying it's probably, but possibly the greatest comeback of all time in Houston. At least it's underway. The Padres scored 11 in the first, 1 in the second, led 12-0. The Astros are back to within 12-4 in the 4th inning. They've got homers from Berkman, Munson, and Scott. That would be an all-timer, coming back from down 12-0 in the 2nd inning. Metcalf running. Wilkerson is there with a juggling catch. Gordon pops it behind third.
Nice play by Brad. He had to come a long way for that play. Playing Gordon fairly deep in left center field. Fortunately, it hung up long enough for him to get there. Travis was way out in left field trying to run it down too. But Brad calls for it, and he's able to make the play.
It's funny that ball hit out that way. We've talked about Metcalf and his adoration as a kid of George Brett, the all-time best third baseman for the Royals. Some say one of the best ever. Alex Gordon, same thing. You got two young guys, Metcalf and Gordon, in this series that wanted to grow up and beat George Brett. And of all things this weekend, George Brett's not here. He's at the Hall of Fame induction ceremonies in Cooperstown. That was a tough one for Travis Metcalf to hear because, you know, he was hoping to meet George in spring training and never quite happened. He was thinking, all right, you know, if I can stay with the Rangers long enough, they make that road trip to Kansas City, maybe then. There's a base hit by Butler in left field. There will be other spring trainings, though, for Mr. Metcalf. Other opportunities. The Rangers and the Royals, of course, share that beautiful spring training complex in Surprise, Arizona.
Now, the Royals have had 6 hits. Unfortunately, 4 of them, the 4 doubles, all came in the 2nd inning. Bunched it all together along with a walk to score all 4 of their runs. Other than that, Cam has been pitching the ball the way you would expect him to.
Glode rolling it. Vasquez has got it, whirling and firing. Nice play. Glode bidding for his 3rd hit out that way today, but this time Vasquez able to go get it. So Cam Lowe still, like you say, that one bad inning. Other than that, things have been very good. But that one bad inning keeps it 4-0. Time for that Sonic Slam inning, brought to you by Sonic. The jackpot worth $1,600 plus tickets to a Ranger game dinner for 2 at Sonic. And we wish good luck to Francis Jeffrey from Fort Worth. If a Ranger hits grand slam this inning, we give away $25,000. And we'll be talking about a tie ball game tag. It's 4-0 Kansas City right now. You can register at any North Texas Sonic restaurant. You missed the greatness of Sonic on the drive home yesterday. You stopped off for a cherry limeade.
I caught you guys in the elevator, though. I saw you sucking them down. They look pretty good.
Press the little red button. Out they come with your cherry limeade.
I do want to know what time Kobe went to bed, though. When I asked him what time he was going to bed, he said, whenever I want to.
That's
so
about...
is he like calling the shots on this trip?
Yeah, pretty much. 8 years old. And
I already know what time he went to bed, but you don't.
Yeah, I was asleep by midnight.
I said, what time? He said, well, my dad already went to sleep, so I stayed up a little bit longer than that.
Yeah, with some movie titles on there I didn't recognize checking out this morning.
No, he didn't do that.
Yeah, I know. But we endorse the cherry limeade and the watermelon slushy.
Well, Nunez is pitching pretty well, but, you know, to really be as honest as you can be, I don't think he's pitching well enough to be throwing a 2-hit shutout through 5 innings. I think a lot of it has to do with the way he's pitching, and some of it at least has to do with the way the Rangers are swinging the bats right now, and the fact that whenever they do hit a ball hard, someone's running it down in the outfield.
Well, and again, you know, not to be Mr. Apologist, but let's face it, the Royals, I mean, they had that 4-run inning, and the catalyst for it was a ball that was chopped down off a home plate.
Yeah.
Joel Peralta getting ready in the bullpen for KC. Again, Nunez expected to top out at 85 to 90 pitches, meaning if Catalinato and say Michael Young can get something going here, he might be asked to exit at that point. He's at right around 80 pitches right now. Catalinato line shot, and there's one that escapes an infielder. That's a base hit to start the 6th. And a vintage Frank Catalinato base hit, the line drive to left from a left-hand hitter, which, if you'll indulge me, Tom, that kind of leads us to our Tony Gwynn discussion today. He, like Cal Ripken, going into the Hall of Fame this afternoon. And I think when you think of Tony Gwynn, you think of that hit right there, right between the third baseman and the shortstop.
Well, even though you know exactly who Tony Gwynn was and what he did, when you look at his statistics and his career statistics, it's still amazing the 4 years that he had in a row where he hit 392. I don't know what his average was those 4 years, probably about 380. I mean, that's pretty amazing over a 4-year period. The other thing that's amazing is when you look at Tony Gwynn now, obviously he's put on some weight. He's a little heavy. He was at the end of his career. He's a guy that stole over 50 bases early in his career in the season. So you think Hall of Fame, and if all you think about is the last couple of years of Tony's career, the thing about that was he wasn't the player he was earlier in his career, but he still hit 300, hit 323, 324 his last 2 years when he was just a part-time player.
The one thing I'll always, I guess, really enjoy about Tony Gwynn, you know, in this era of free agency, Teixeira takes outside. He took a lot less money than he could have gotten on the open market. And much to the chagrin of the Players Union, the union, Gene Orza, kind of reamed him out, said, you know, you sign a 6-year extension, you're taking a lot less money. Don't you know that sets the bar lower for everybody else? And Tony Gwynn's, you know, reportedly simply said to Gene Orza, how can you sit at your desk in New York and tell me what I should sign for? And Gene Orza said, well, I have 700 players to look out for. Tony Gwynn says, I have me and my family to look out for.
Exactly what the players should say, too. The Players Association serves the players, and the players have to do what's in their best interest. And that's a perfect answer for him.
And Tony Gwynn's from San Diego, wanted to remain a Padre. Cal Ripken had opportunities, I'm sure, to go places besides Baltimore, but he was a native son, wanted to stay there. 3-0 pitch to Tex. He's swinging 3-0 and chops it. Boy, that really fizzled in a hurry, didn't it? That's a rare 3-0 swing from Mark Teixeira. He does not do that a lot, but swinging there 3-0, that did not go well at all.
Thank you for calling me. This cookie dough blast is so good.
You know, I could have waited for you to finish up.
No, I was done. I was out the door.
I think we have different definitions of done.
What's your definition of done?
Not that.
Cookie Dough Blast, now at Sonic. This summer, give in to indulgence with the Sonic Cookie Dough Blast, a creamy frozen treat loaded with cookie dough goodness. And now Sonic is open till midnight or later, and it's even sweeter after dark.
Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest, the official airline of the Rangers. Visit southwest.com. Boy, down 4-0. Mark Teixeira swinging away 3-0. Bounces into that double play, and the Rangers still getting shut out by Leo Nunez today. Cam Lowe continues on the mound. Will deal to Mark Teahen. And Cam with that bad second inning. It all started with a Baltimore chop double. But other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, he's doing very well today. Nothing but zeros otherwise up there, both teams combined.
Well, in Cam's last start against Seattle, he'd given up 3 runs earlier in the game and then really finished strong. Pitched into the 7th inning, threw a lot of pitches in the game, 117. And after the 2nd inning, he just got into a little rut. He got some sinkers up. He hung a curveball. I think he hung the curveball to Teahen. He drove it into the gap in left center field. But once he got out of the 2nd inning, he got back to doing what he was doing. Everything's been pretty good since then.
Teahen knocking that one into center field, the leadoff base hit to bring up Reggie Sanders. But Tom, just to finish your thought on Tony Gwynn, talking about the fact he didn't always look like a well-sculpted athlete necessarily, but he always had a great sense of humor about that. He would say, I don't see a lot of skinny guys hitting 320 every year.
No, he had. What are you going to say? Just like David Wells, when David Wells was pitching well, as big as he was, say, hey, you got a problem with my performance? No. I think the only way you could answer that, though, if you wanted to be disagreeable, is if someone is not in their optimum shape, I think it's logical to say, sure, you're excellent, but you could be not excellent. You're very good, whatever you are, but you could be even better if you were in better shape. Now, I'm not sure if that's true with Tony Gwynn, but I think it's true with a lot of guys who are noticeably out of shape, but playing pretty well, getting the job done in the big leagues. Sure, you're getting the job done, but maybe you could be a lot better if you were in even better shape.
Infield, a double play depth for the Rangers here. Well, Tony Gwynn won 8 batting titles. He came awfully close to making that number 10. Because in '86, he finished just 5 points behind Tim Raines. In '91, he was 2 points behind Terry Pendleton. 3 more hits in '86, 1 or 2 more hits in '91. We'd be talking about a 10-time batting champion. Although 8 isn't exactly subpar.
But when you look at the careers of Gwynn and Ripken, they're exactly where they should be today in the Hall of Fame, no doubt about it. But there is one glaring difference between the two of them, and it's pretty obvious when you look at their statistics. In Ripken's case, he basically played every game every year. Gwynn's case, that's not the case. Over a 12-year period in the heart of his career, in fact, during the years he hit 358, 394, 368, 353, 372. Those are 5 straight years. But during that 12-year period, he only averaged 130 games a year. Ripken was averaging 162 games a year. Gwynn was only averaging 130 games a year. He had years where he played 116, 110, 122. So he was a guy that wasn't nearly as durable and healthy as Ripken.
Runner goes, Laird throws. The tag is down there. Safe the call.
I think what happened is the throw bounced. It was a nice play by Vasquez to catch the bounce. But to catch the bounce, he had to lift his glove up. And as he lifted it up to catch it, the runner, Teahen, slid underneath his hand. You're going to see the bounce, lift up, and then he slides underneath the tag. If the throw was there in the first place, he could have caught it and slapped down instead of having to reach up to catch it. And it's a good call by the second base umpire, Rob Drake. Throw actually got there in time, but because it bounced, couldn't make the tag.
That pitch bouncing, and Sanders is going to reach. The Rangers do have action in the bullpen behind Cam now. Getting Ron Mayhay to work. Oh, the other guy going to the Hall of Fame today, Tom, that is the longtime voice of these Kansas City Royals, the great Denny Matthews. And I know you want to express what I want to express, is that that's a classy guy, kind of a tell it like it is guy that, as we talk about longevity, 39 years as the voice of a team that has been in existence for 39 years. We'll show you a little bit of Denny Matthews here, the voice of the Royals here in Kansas City.
Jackson's pitch. High fly ball down the right field line into the corner. Back, it's way back, and it is gone. A home run for Brett. George Brett has just hit a 3-run home run. The 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Kansas City, you've got a World Series. The Royals are champions of the American League. A bouncing ball to Frank White. That could be it. The Royals have won it. High fly ball. Motley going back to the track. No outs to go. The Royals have won the 1985 World Series.
Congratulations, Denny. And you think of Mark Holtz, all those consecutive years of service to the Rangers. Eric Nadel now. And there's a lot to be said for a guy that can become that popular in that town. Hit and run. And that works out very well for Pena, who's going to knock in another run, his third of the day. The 2 runners on the move right after the visit to the mound. Mark Connor made it to Cam Lowe. Cam's very next pitch socked into left field. And it's 5-0 Royals.
Now, Reggie Sanders is just barely running out there. He must have some kind of a minor leg problem.
And look at the great voice of the Rangers, Eric Nadel. Been at it with the Rangers since late 70s, 1980 full time. Yeah, Sanders has been hobbled by a hamstring issue pretty much all year, I think. Now you've got Jason LaRue, and he'll take a strike. When announcers go to the Hall of Fame, it is the Ford Frick Award. And the first 2 I know were a couple of your favorites, Tom. The first 2 inductees were Mel Allen and Red Barber.
Wow. What a place to start.
We'll see if Cam Lowe again can get a ground ball, get helped out by the defense behind him. Rangers itching for a double play right here. You don't want to see the Royals get out too far from 5-zip here in the 6th inning. The Rangers had that terrific run of about 4, maybe 5 weeks very recently, where the starters seem to be going 6-7 innings every game. A little bit of a backslide the last week or week and a half, though. Obviously yesterday, Millwood just 2 2/3 innings, giving up 6 runs. But you know, Tom, for the Ranger fans that say, hey, you know, that's why you go out and sign a big name free agent in the offseason. Barry Zito's name kept coming up. Have you seen Zito's stats lately? The guy that signed.
ERA is close to 5, I think.
It's over now.
He's
7-10, 5.26. He signed a 7-year, $126 million deal with the Giants. The Rangers would have had to go 7 years, what, 127, just to stay in the room and get a guy with an ERA of 5.25.
Bet you he's available.
Rip and a miss, LaRue. He is down on strikes.
Not sure what his no trade clauses are in his contract, but you know, a guy like Zito, and I'm not saying it is Zito because I don't know what his contract says, but at the trade deadline, if you put him on waivers to see if you could get a waiver to trade him and someone claims him because they want him or because they're trying to block somebody else from getting a pitcher, and the Giants say, okay, you got him, then you got to eat that contract. There's nothing you can do about it. That's why certain players will get through waivers at the trade deadline, because no one wants to assume the contract.
Ron Washington makes a move here. Cam Lowe is out. Ron Mayhay is in. We'll come back in a moment. 5-0 Kansas City. got into a tough spot in the second inning, giving up 4 runs on 4 doubles. And here in the 6th inning, another run has come across. Runners at the corners. You got a tough lefty about to bat in David DeJesus. So Ron Mayhay is summoned. And again, a situation, Tom, where if you get a ground ball, you get that double play turned, you stay reasonably within yelling distance of Kansas City. Looks like Leo Nunez is going to be done for the day. It'll be the 2nd straight day the Royals got 6 innings from their starting pitcher. They got 7 from Brian Bannister Friday. Timeout bellowed by Todd Tichenor, the home plate umpire. Rangers being out hit 8-3 today, and the Royals looking to sweep the series tag. They haven't swept a home series all year.
It's amazing what one off day and a change of scenery can make for a team. The Rangers just got done sweeping Seattle.
Right.
Seattle couldn't do anything right. The Rangers could hardly do anything wrong. They win all 4 games. All close games, doing what it took to win. Get an off day, come to Kansas City, and now the exact opposite has happened. They can't do anything right. Can't get a hit when they need it. Starting pitching hasn't been quite effective enough. And the Rangers find themselves in danger of losing 3 straight here in Kansas City. What a difference 2 series can be.
Carved into left field, a base hit. The run charged against Cameron Lowe. Still 2 on, still 1 out, and now 6-0 Royals. We got 2 runs batted in for DeJesus in this game, 3 for Tony Pena Jr. And another lefty has come up with the other RBI, Mark Teahen. Well, what a ball game they've got going in Houston, Tom. The Padres scored 11 in the top of the 1st. And you'd figure that would stand up. They actually went out 12-0 on top of Houston. Astros won in the 3rd, 7 in the 4th. Came back to make it 12-8, but now San Diego has just put up 3 more. It's 15-8 San Diego in the top of the 5th. And they've got the bases loaded, nobody out. If the Astros can return the volley and come back from down 12-0.
San Diego's had a lot of weeks where they didn't score 15 runs.
Yeah, that's true. They are offensively challenged, supposedly. The Indians had a game 6 years ago where they were down 12-0. Also 14-2 in that game. That was against Seattle. Came back to win.
I wonder how Lou was in the post game after that game.
You know what, though? That's the year they won 116 games, though. So
yeah, it didn't matter too much.
They were way out in front. Boy, here's that hard ground ball you wanted a little while ago. 6-4-3 double play, and the Rangers get out of the inning. But the damage is done. 2 more runs and a 6-0 Royals lead now at the end of 6 on KDFW Fox 4. Sunday, August 12th is Dog Night Part 2 at Rangers Ballpark in Arlington, presented by Avoderm Pinnacle. There is no greater theater than a bunch of dogs at a ballpark. And if you'd like to participate, go to TexasRangers.com, find out how you can bring your dog with you to the game. When the Rangers play, not the Devil Dogs, but the Devil Rays. Advanced registration is required. Rangers are back home taking on Oakland on August the 6th, a Monday night. 972 Rangers, the number to call to get your tickets. Here is Joel Peralta taking over for Leo Nunez. And Nunez, Tom, only 1 strikeout in 6 innings, but only 1 walk and a shutout.
Yeah, all you can say is he was effective against the Rangers today. I don't know if he caught the Rangers on the right day or the Rangers had no luck with the balls they hit hard being caught? Not exactly sure, but watching him pitch, it looked like he had pretty good stuff. Didn't look like he had 3-hit, 6-inning shutout stuff, but that's what it ended up for him. And tip your hat to him. Got the job done.
Another Dominican-born pitcher for the Royals out there today. Nunez going the first 6 innings. Nunez only 23 years old. Peralta much more well-traveled, Tom. He's 31. A little bit of time with the Angels, a little bit of time in the A's organization. One and 2 to Marlon Byrd. But what a pitching matchup they've got going at, of all places, U.S. Cellular Field today in Chicago. The Blue Jays and the White Sox. He got 3 hits total in that game in the 8th inning. Got a 2-hitter by Javier Vazquez, a 1-hitter by Sean Markham.
Yesterday wasn't too bad. Roy Halladay and Mark Burley.
That's right. That
Burley
was
shut him out 2-0.
in a game that took just over 2 hours to play.
Well, Seattle was shut out in Toronto 2 games in a row. And they might get shut out themselves 2 games in a row.
One-two delivery to Byrd. In play towards second base for Herman. And a high throw, but on the bag over there at first is Glode. 1 down. Marlin in a little 1 out of 18 spin right now. Minnesota's just hopped ahead of Cleveland 3-1 with a 3-run 8th inning. Yesterday, the Twins got that home run from Jason Tyner, Tom, the first of his big league career after something like 1,200 at bats, and you and I speculated it was probably an inside the Parker. Actually, it looked a lot like the one Dwayne Kuiper hit in Cleveland for his only big league home run. Just a whistling shot just over the wall. I think Kuiper's was to left, though, if I recall. I might be wrong on that. Tyner just kind of tugged one right down the line.
Yeah, Kuiper, kind of a similar hitter to Jason Tyner. They're both left-hand hitters. I don't have any idea where Kuiper's home run went.
I can't remember. It was off of Steve Stone. I know that. I can't, and I know it was first row, but I can't place left field or right field. Right field? I think it was right field now that I think about it. Would make sense, right? Left-hand hitter?
Yeah, you wouldn't think if he only had 1 home run like that he hit it the opposite way, but I guess you never know.
Nelson Cruz, who had the 5 runs batted in yesterday, twisting one to right field, a base hit for Nelly. That new and improved stance giving him a longer look. He stays on the ball very well. Who was your first home run against, Tag?
First home run was against a guy you've never heard of in your life.
Okay.
Rick Austin was his name.
You're right.
The funny thing was, his start before that was for Wichita in Denver, I believe, and I'd hit a home run off him that day in Denver. Then we both got called up at about the same time, and he started for the next time, or within 2 starts, in Cleveland, and I snuck one to right field against him that day too.
You never forget your first.
No.
We were talking about Kevin Moss the other day. I mean, here's a guy that started out with 10 home runs in his first 72 at bats, and everybody's thinking, man, this is going to be some kind of career, this guy. He didn't exactly have the staying power to keep that happening.
Well, first time through the league is one thing, but once they see you and get a little bit of an idea what type of hitter you are, then they start to pitch you differently. And it's the hitters who can then make adjustments that are able to withstand those changes and have big league careers. And there are others who are just one-dimensional hitters. They're dead fastball hitters. They're off-speed hitters. They can hit the ball away. They can hit the ball in. They don't make adjustments. And if you can't make adjustments, big league pitchers will find your weakness and they will exploit it. That's what makes the big leagues much more difficult than the minor leagues. Scouting reports, they see you, they know you, advanced scouts, the video, The minor leagues, you go into a minor league city, and many times that minor league team's never seen you before, never heard of you. They don't have the slightest idea what kind of hitter you are. And for the most part, with some exceptions, the pitchers don't have the ability, like they do in the big leagues, to exploit those weaknesses at bat after at bat. So a guy like Kevin Moss, I can't remember him as a hitter. I remember seeing him hit a couple of home runs. But whatever it was that he had trouble with, they found out, and he couldn't make the adjustment.
Laird, following the 6'4" fielder's choice, is the batter. The Mariners had a guy named Greg Perkle in the mid-90s. Came up, hit 5 home runs in 30 April at-bats. And 3 years later, he was done with baseball. The owner of a grand total of 8 major league home runs.
Well, the Rangers had a power hitter, Dave Hostetler, who came up over from Montreal and got off to a great start. Hit something like 18 or 19 home runs and a couple of hundred at-bats, and continued to play at the big leagues, but never quite could duplicate that kind of success.
Remember, the Rangers briefly had Shane Spencer at the end of his career. When he first came up with the Yankees, he was kind of one of those guys we're talking about.
Definitely. Some of those were against the Rangers, too.
Laird, a roller to third. Gordon with a juggle and throws out Gerald Laird. So the Rangers still having a tough time against the KC Royals today. Trailing 6-0 at the stretch, and we'll keep it right here for the singing of God Bless America on a Sunday afternoon here in KC.
Please join us in singing God Bless America.
Hello from the Fox Studios. I'm Max Morgan with a Toyota Trucks game break. We'll get you back to Kansas City in a moment. Rangers wrapping up their 3-game set with the Royals tonight before an off day tomorrow. But taking a look ahead, the Rangers spend the week on the road beginning Tuesday in Cleveland. Brandon McCarthy goes after his 5th win of the season. After that, 2 more against the Tribe. The Rangers head north for a 3-game set with the Blue Jays, ending with a noon contest next Sunday on Fox 4. The Rangers are still trying to gain ground in the AL West standings, but Michael Young only has 1 goal on his mind.
You know, they don't give out any awards for 2nd or 3rd place. So our minds are always trying to win the division. And even though, you know, we have to a horrible start this year, that's always got to be the goal.
That's it for now. We get you back to Kansas City. I'm Max Morgan. Enjoy the rest of the game.
It's usually rock of some sort, kind of some harder rock before a game, softer rock after or something. There's some rap mix in there. It's just kind of, you know, a smorgasbord, I guess. It's all over the place, so, but mostly rock.
Brandon McCarthy, brought to you by Dodge, your Texas truck stop. Brandon will be pitching for the Rangers in Cleveland Tuesday night. Right now, you've got Ron Mayhay against Alex Gordon. A lot of people had Alex Gordon for Rookie of the Year coming out of spring training. It took him a while to get going. The numbers aren't horrible, Tom. 243 batting average, 7 home runs, 35 batted in, but those are not Rookie of the Year numbers.
No, but they've come a long way. And for a pretty long time, 160 at-bats or so, he's been hitting over 330. So he's making definite progress. Just hard for him to overcome how slow he started.
Lift off towards left field. Wilkerson running towards the line. That ball still curling. That's a fair ball. On the chalk, and Gordon rounding second, going back with a double. tough chance out there.
I think you'd definitely rather see a guy like Gordon. It gets tough right there because of how close you are to the fence. It's tough to run standing up as fast as you can at that area without smashing into the wall. But with Gordon, you'd much rather see Gordon get off to the slow start as a rookie, overcome it, and then play the way he's playing than get off to that 3:30 start toward the end of May and then kind of crater and fall back down. He's headed in the right direction. I'm sure they're really happy that they stuck with him and kept playing him at the big league level even when he was struggling so badly.
Well, the big stat in this series, I think, Tom, is what the two teams have done comparatively with runners in scoring position. The Rangers 1 out of 17. Kansas City's 14 for 29. And they've got a chance right here. Runner at second, nobody out. Got a couple emails wondering about the absence of Kenny Lofton at the top of the order and whether or not that might be affecting the Rangers offensively here over a short sample.
No doubt about it. I think when you lose a player like Kenny who was playing the way he was, it's hard in the short term to be as strong as you expected to be with him in the lineup. He was getting on base 39% of the time. Seemed like he was getting 2 hits a game. He was still occasionally stealing some bases, providing some power too. He had some big home runs for the Rangers, including a game winner. So definitely the Rangers right now are missing Kenny at the top of the order. But the other side of it is it's giving Marlon Byrd a chance to play center field and for the Rangers to make a decision on how he's playing center field by the end of the year as to whether he can play it next year. Nelly Cruz is able to play every day. He's getting a chance to play right field. So those are things the Rangers needed to do. It was highly unlikely that Kenny would be back next year anyway. And with the team out of contention, it made sense to try to add depth in the farm system with the young catcher they got in return. Let Kenny go to a contender, see what Marlon can do, see what Nelly can do, and start to build for the future. So to answer the question, you're definitely weaker right now, but that doesn't really matter because the team's not going anywhere right now anyway. But hopefully it's a decision that helps someone in the future.
Infield's going to come in for the Rangers following the ground out to short. And Glode, who is 2 for 3 in this game, has an 8-game hitting streak going on. And again, it was his infield double. I said that correctly. Infield double. They got the Royals off and running today. A 4-run second inning. The Rangers now have given up exactly 6 runs in 4 consecutive ball games. Scott Feldman getting ready in the bullpen. Got 2 lefties though right now to deal with, and that'll be Mayhay, who deals a strike to Glode. Mayhay getting Glode to fish for one right there. That one almost hit home plate. 2-2. But that's when Ron's most effective, right, Tom? I mean, he'll disguise that and the ball will just kind of drop down, and he gets that swing and miss a lot.
Yeah, I've heard that pitch called a changeup. I've heard it called a splitter. Not exactly sure. I asked Ron one time how he gripped his changeup, and he was a little bit evasive. It's like that's his secret pitch. So I said, well, let me ask you this. If I call it a changeup.
And that one, I think the same pitch too, right? But that's swept into right field under the glove of Teixeira. It's now 7-0 Kansas City.
If I call that pitch a changeup, would I be accurate? And he said, oh yeah, just call it a changeup. So that's what I call it. I'm not exactly sure how he grips it, but it comes in and drops a lot like you see a splitter do. It's a change of speed, which fools the hitter. He combines that with a good slider and a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. It's a good combination of pitches for him, and it's a pitch that he can throw to right-hand hitters to kind of negate the advantage they might have batting right-handed while he pitches left-handed. Glode just fought that pitch off the hands and rolled it through the drawn-in infield.
Gload is living right now. He had the Baltimore chop double. That's a couple that have just barely escaped either Vasquez or Teixeira going in and right.
Yeah, I'll say.
All right, Tom, you ready for the Padres-Astros update?
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to say, based on bases loaded, no outs, I'm going to say it's 17-10.
Nope, went the other way.
Oh.
They got out of it. The Astros did. They stemmed the tide at 15-8. Now they're back with 3 more of their own. So
15-11.
It's 15-11 in the 5th. San Diego out of Houston. The Padres may be in the process of blowing a 12-0 second inning lead.
That would be a game to remember if you were a young fan. Say you're a kid going to your first big league game.
Yeah, you think they're all going to be like that.
You want the game to last for 5 hours. You don't ever want to go home.
Right.
Boy, you'd be in heaven watching that game.
Not so much after the 11-run first. Dad, what time is this over?
Yeah, provided you stuck it out.
Right. At 26 runs on 25 hits in that game. They are just now in the bottom of the 5th inning. Down too low to Tian, and that may be all for Ron Mayhay. They've got the righty Feldman ready out there in the bullpen. We'll see how, yeah, Ron Washington's coming out. So again, the Rangers a double play ball away from getting out of the inning. They got that double play last time, 6th inning. We'll see if Feldman can come on and get one off the bat of Reggie Sanders now. The Royals looking to sweep the Rangers. They are up 7-0. We'll come back and tell you about Feldman in just a moment on KDFW Fox 4. Not going well here in Kansas City. The Royals, and we said they were playing better baseball of late. They are proving it to the Rangers here in this series. Leading 7-0 today. They beat the Yankees 7-0 right before the Rangers got here. And Scott Feldman, Tom, trying to prove that he belongs as a Texas Ranger. He's going to inherit a couple on with 1 out.
Yeah, Scott's trying to pitch well enough so he can stay here the rest of the year instead of making that trip to Oklahoma City again. He's been up and down 4 times this year. Even Wes Littleton had kind of been on the Oklahoma City shuttle.
Yeah, nothing against Oklahoma City. He doesn't hate the town or anything. He'd just much rather be in the big leagues. Now, the one thing about Sanders, he is not moving well at all. Got a sore back, got a bad hammy. And if he hits the ball on the ground, you've got a textbook chance here for a double play. Get out of the inning. Sanders has been at this in the big league since 1991. There was a time, Tom, when you heard comparisons to Eric Davis regarding Reggie Sanders.
Well, he never quite had years like that, but he's been a solid major league player for a long time, that's for sure.
Lost the race with his former Diamondbacks teammate Steve Finley last year, who would join the exclusive 300 homer 300 steal club first. Line shot right center. Royals looking for another. They will get another. It is 8-0. Four in the second, 2 in the 6th, and 2 in the 7th. And you can't pin it all on the starter today. Cam Lowe didn't have his best stuff going this afternoon, but you know what's come in there behind him hadn't really done much better on this humid afternoon. Big afternoon for Tony Pena Jr. 3 runs batted in. Now Feldman, you know, one of the things the Rangers really liked about him initially, Tom, was his control. And that really has not been very consistent this year, quite honestly. It's been probably the most frustrating thing for Scott. Pena, though, is a tough guy to fall behind. The guy that went 244 plate appearances in between walks this year. Tony Pena Sr. never had more than 53 walks in a season. That's the year that Tony Pena Jr. was born. Jr. is going to really have to rally to get to as many as 53. He's got 7 all year. Tampa Bay has taken a 1-0 lead on Boston in the 7th inning in Tampa Bay. The Yankees leading Baltimore 4-3. Nubbed out in front of the plate. That's foul. All of a sudden, they're scoring some runs in Chicago. Jermaine Diaz hit a home run for the White Sox, but Toronto's got 4 on the board. That game was scoreless into the 8th, but it's now 4-1 Toronto in the 9th. Oakland and Seattle just underway. The Angels play tonight against the Tigers. Jeremy Bonderman, Tom, a chance to go to 11-2.
They need a win. They haven't been playing that well. Cleveland's being beaten in the 9th inning, though.
Feldman knocks it down. He's going to get 1 out there. Pena beats it out. Fielder's choice and not a double play.
Had a shot at the double play. Scott couldn't make the play as quickly as he would like to, but he made a strong throw in his recovery, but they still didn't have time to get Pena. Got down the line pretty well. Taylor made double play if Scott catches it, but that little bobble cost him the double play. They almost had it anyway.
Jason LaRue to the plate. We can report the Marlins and Giants are underway, Tom. Barry Bonds is in the lineup today. A lot of times he won't play on a Sunday afternoon after a Saturday game, but
well, that was a great matchup last night between him and Dontrelle Willis. Dontrelle Willis is really enjoying the commentary by Oral Hershiser and Steve Phillips in that game. They were great, but boy, watching Dontrelle Willis, he was doing all fastballs. He was saying, I don't care if I'm the one that gives it up. I'm going at it like a man. Here's my best. If you can beat me, fine. And he was pumped up. He was up to the challenge. Bonds couldn't hit a home run off him. But I don't think he threw him anything but a fastball the whole game.
Barry's still at 754 home runs. Jason LaRue at considerably fewer than that. 2-1 the count on him. Of course, everybody's talking about how if indeed Barry Bonds is going to break the Hank Aaron record, San Francisco's definitely the preferred place for that to happen.
Well, the other thing is, if he breaks it today or ties it today, Bud Selig won't be there. He's at the Hall of Fame ceremonies.
I think a lot of people also thinking that, boy, you know, I mean, 2 of the classiest guys ever, right? Cal Ripken Jr., Tony Gwynn. Wouldn't that be something if they got upstaged on their day in Cooperstown by Barry Bonds if he hit 2 today?
Probably a news blackout in Cooperstown until after the ceremony's over.
That would really be some kind of juxtaposition. And you know, the interesting thing is, Tom, if it doesn't happen today, well, guess where the Giants are going next? They're going to Dodger Stadium, and that too would be something if Barry Bonds got it done against the Giants' fiercest rivals. Can you imagine what the Dodger fans' reaction would be if it happens in LA? Outside, 3-2 in the inning that would not end.
I think no matter what Bonds does, and he'll break the record, there's a lot of people that are going to still look at Hank Aaron as the home run leader of all time. Some people, even with the great Hank Aaron, look at Babe Ruth as that guy. Roger Maris is the single season guy. I don't think Bonds will ever get the respect as the all-time home run leader that normally would happen, because his career has obviously been tainted by the steroid question. And it's a question more so for some people than others. I think when you look at the mountain of circumstantial evidence, in fact, I was listening to the sports reporters today, and Mitch Albom said it's not a mountain of circumstantial evidence, it's a mountain range. And, you know, I think that's probably true.
Scott Feldman, who ironically is from Burlingame, California, where the Balco Labs are located. Is going to deal here to David DeJesus with the bases loaded. And this has just been an awful inning for the Rangers. Only 2 runs are in, but man, they just walked the number 9 guy, Jason LaRue, for the 2nd time in the game. He's 0 for his last 22.
Yeah, it's not what we have come to expect from the Ranger bullpen, which has been so solid all season long. But it's not been that way in this ball game.
DeJesus, the 8th man to bat in the inning. An inning that started close to 20 minutes ago with Alex Gordon flaring that double to left. And again, Feldman just can't seem to get ahead of anybody. No action in the Ranger bullpen either, so they're asking him to find a way here. But man, the ball's moving all over the place.
And this has started moving between the white of the home plate area.
On a steamy Sunday afternoon here in Kansas City. Feldman misses, and another run comes in. It's 9-0. Three Ranger walks in the inning. Mark Connor's got to go out to the mound. A quick update on the scores here, Tom. It is still 15-11 San Diego and Houston. That game now in the 6th. Milwaukee trying to stave off St. Louis. It's 5-4 Brewers in the 6th inning in that game. And the Brewers feeling the heat because the Cubs have already defeated Cincinnati 6-0. Carlos Zambrano goes to 14-7 with the win. He's having some kind of year.
The strongest part of Milwaukee's team for most of the season was Coco Cordero in the bullpen. If they had a lead, he closed it out. But there's a little chink in that armor now, and it started in Texas. And since that time, he has not been quite as lights out as the closer. I think once you start to get that doubt late in the game that you can hold a lead, and you've got a team closing in, a veteran team like the Cubs playing really good baseball, I think it gets a little tight around the collar coming down the last 2 months of the year for the Brewers.
That's always an interesting thing. A young team in the heat of a race. But you've got, I mean, the Cubs, though they are a more veteran unit, you know how the baseball pundits will be weighing in. Well, they're still the Cubs. They'll find a way to mess it up.
Yeah, that may be the case.
Feldman missing into Herman. The Royals having batted around now in a 3-run 7th inning. Bases still loaded.
Well, Scott had a chance to get out of it when the 8th hitter, Pena, hit that ball back to the mound. It bounced out of his glove. He recovered quickly to get the out at second, but they missed the chance to get the double play. And since then, he's walked 2 batters.
Herman to right field. Another base hit. Another run is in. A great throw by Nelly Cruz, sending LaRue back to 3rd. And folks, it is just not pretty. It is 10-0 Kansas City. Looks like we got a pinch hitter now as well. Jason Smith for Alex Gordon. Gordon, the guy who started this inning, will not get a chance to continue this inning. Smith may be helping out by going after the first pitch. That's if this ball is caught. And it is. To end a 4-run bottom of the 7th inning. And the Rangers are down double digits here in Kansas City.
Mom
Mom and Dad know that for as little as $60, they can buy a Coca-Cola Texas Rangers family pack. It includes 4 Cokes, 4 Hebrew National hot dogs, and 4 tickets to watch Junior hit wiffle balls in the Coca-Cola Sports Park. At least that's what Junior thinks. The Rangers home run fireworks will remind him why they really came, and the price means Mom and Dad will want to come back. To buy your Coca-Cola family pack, type in Coke as your coupon code at TexasRangers.com or call 972-RANGERS. You could use some baseball.
Well, the Royals cruising right now. It is 10-0. And the Royals with 4 runs on 4 doubles in the second inning. One of the doubles never left the infield. And Leo Nunez, a beneficiary. He went 6 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball. And now Joel Peralta and the Kansas City bullpen trying to bring it on in front of a crowd of 15,638.
This is something you don't see at most ballparks between innings. They've always done it here in Kansas City. That little rocket launcher that shoots hot dogs into the stands, wrapped up hot dogs into the stands. About 1 out of every 5 comes unwrapped, and you see the hot dog and the bun separate and just go randomly flying into the stands. And you see people grabbing at the ones that are wrapped up, ripping at the hot dog. If it comes into the stands for free, boy, fans are going to go bonkers over it no matter what it is. You see life and death struggles for a $10 baseball. Now they're fighting over a hot dog.
Well, and when it's only the bun.
Not going to eat. You're not going to eat the thing anyway.
Little shards of bun raining all over the stadium here. Ramon Vasquez, a ground ball to short. And to put it mildly, Tom, this is not a day to remember if you're a Ranger fan. Leo Nunez on the mound, a guy just brought up from AAA. The Rangers couldn't solve him. Jason Smith, by the way, in the game now at third.
No, it's not a series to remember for that matter. I thought Brian Bannister pitched a good game in the first game. I thought he had good stuff. He's been pitching well.
Yeah, that one was legit.
But yesterday, Odalis Perez came in with an ERA of somewhere around 6, and he threw the ball okay. And I'll give him credit. He only gave up 3 runs. He changed speeds pretty well. And I'll give Nunez credit today too. But to end up pitching the way they did, I think some of it at least reflects on the fact that the Rangers just didn't swing the bats very well in this series.
Boy, Metcalf ramming that one to center, and poor Travis, you know, as much as he's been looking forward to coming home to this area, playing in front of Mom, playing in front of all the friends and family. It's a hitless series for Travis, but boy, he's had a couple of pretty good at-bats, a couple pretty good swings today.
Yeah, he has. He's hit the ball hard a couple of times, and I'm sure he wishes he could take that 4-for-4 game against Seattle and translate it right here to Kansas City for his mom to see. But she's proud of the fact that he's playing every day in the big leagues, proud of the series he had in Seattle, and I think she's pretty happy that he's hit some balls hard in this series too.
Boy, this is looking like time to go to Cleveland right now. A 4-pitch inning in the top of the 8th. And indeed, it is on to Cleveland after this one is over. It is 10-0 KC, bottom of the 8th, coming up.
Oh, what a wonderful morning. It's time to rise and shine. All I need is a steaming cup of coffee. Today is gonna be.
Life comes at you fast. But with Nationwide Blue Ribbon Claim Services, you don't have to worry. We can guarantee all your repairs and writing for as long as you own the car.
Nationwide is on your side.
Folks, this year when you can't be home to catch the Rangers, check out MLB.tv. And for more details, just go to TexasRangers.com, where baseball is always on. A pleasure to be bringing you Ranger baseball from Kansas City. In theory, I mean, the score is not really a pleasure, to be honest with you. 10-0 Royals. But the Rangers will re-rack and try again in Cleveland, barring the miracle 9th inning comeback today. Got the off day in Cleveland tomorrow, and then on Tuesday, it is Brandon McCarthy against the 13-game winner Fausto Carmona. That'll be a 6:05 first pitch, North Texas time. The game will be on My-27 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Scott Feldman gets the strike to Billy Butler, and Feldman brought on to get a couple of outs last inning. Got those 2 outs, Tom, but it took 21 pitches to do it.
Could have got him in a lot less if he caught that ground ball, 1 hopper, and turned the double play. It would have saved him a couple of walks in the inning, probably 10 or 15 pitches. But Butler's been getting jammed in this series. He's got a lot of bloopers. He's got the 3-run homer. That was maybe the big hit for them to set the tone for the series in the first inning of the first game. But since then, the Rangers have been kind of hammering him in on the fists with some success.
Teixeira to Feldman on that last one. And, you know, again, Tom, you hate to keep going back to the whole Mark Teixeira situation, but with the trade deadline Tuesday afternoon and the Rangers not playing again until Tuesday night, if Mark Teixeira is going to get traded, and with the game 10-0 here today, well, it could well be just in a few moments the last Ranger at bat for Mark Teixeira, if indeed he's on the move. Ross Gload with a chopped ball foul. Chopped baseballs from Ross Gload have gone well today. The Whataburger play, check this out, off the plate, never leaves the infield, and it's a double. I don't know if Tex maybe thought that ball was going to keep on rolling into right field, that either the right fielder would come on and get it or Vasquez would go back and get it.
The thing that happened to Tex had to stay at first base in case Vasquez caught the ball. And then when he didn't catch the ball, I think what happened after that happened so quick no one could react to it. It was kind of too late.
I don't think anybody figured the ball would just come to a dead stop.
They didn't figure that, and they didn't figure there's any way he would end up at second base. That just didn't factor into their thought process. Tex was hoping that Vasquez could short hop the ball and flip it to him for the out. That's certainly what Ramon was hoping for. And on that slowly hit ball, if you're the right fielder, you just don't think that. Well, number one, even if he did think the ball was going to roll out towards you, he couldn't have come in and got it on the dirt in time to do anything by the time he did react to it. Just one of those fluke plays.
Gload now 12 for 23 in this Royals homestand against the Yankees and the Rangers. They started off 0-3 on this homestand, but they're going to close with 4 straight wins. Well, another one, and this time Vasquez says you're not going to get me on that one again. 2 down, 8th inning. Well, the Phillies beat the Pirates 5-1. They're staying in the race in the NL East. And the Mets, a rain-shortened 5-0 win over Washington today. John Maine, I guess, gets credit for a one-hitter, Tom. That game rained out in the bottom of the 5th inning. And Maine, in the rain, goes to a 12-5. That ball tipped foul by Tian.
The Orioles picked up Jeremy Guthrie on a waiver claim from Cleveland. He's been one of the better pitchers in the league this year. But they let John Maine slip away in a trade that really didn't help him. And he's been one of the best pitchers in the National League. They picked up one they shouldn't have, and they got rid of one they shouldn't have gotten rid of. And they're both kind of pitching the same way in the respective leagues.
You saw Eric Gagne there a moment ago, Tom, and another guy that's, I guess, rumored to be maybe going somewhere for the Rangers. If anybody picks him up.
If they do, they'll be picking a winner.
The 1-1 pitch to Tian. Of course, nobody knows exactly what's going to happen. A lot of teams sniffing around, but anyway, trade deadline is 3 o'clock Central Time Tuesday. Tian fouling one back into the crowd of 15,000 today. Kansas City will not lead the American League in home attendance this year, but man, I can't think that they're going to lose the humidity derby. Been muggy all 3 games here in Kansas City. Weather looks okay in Cleveland.
Yeah, we got big plans for tomorrow.
For tomorrow?
36 holes. It better be good tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a lot of holes. 2-2 drifting outside, 3-2 the count. Rangers only 4 hits today against the Royals. Kansas City's pounded out 13 and now make it 14. Mark Teahen. A 3-hit, 1-walk game for Teahen today. He's still going. He's in at second base. Now it's just the kind of game you wish you could fast forward through. Those of you with TiVo have probably already done that, but you're going to have days like this. The Rangers, as you said, Tom, they just got off a 4-game sweep of Seattle at home. They couldn't do anything wrong. Well, they can't do anything right here in Kansas City.
And the Royals kind of in the same situation. They had lost 3 to the Yankees, feeling down. They beat the Yankees. Now they've got a chance to sweep the Rangers, and they'll end up winning 4 straight. Funny game.
Reggie Sanders with a runner at second, 2 down. Wild swing and a miss. That's the pitch that you love when Scott Feldman can fool a righty into swinging at that. That drop down delivery he's got. What time you got to get up to get in 36 holes in Cleveland, by the way?
Well, not as early as you would think, because we can play till about 8 o'clock at night if we want to. So
oh, yeah. Okay.
It'll be normal.
Feldman with the 0-1. That is down and outside. Well, the Rangers having a tough time against the AL Central for some reason. 6-15 they will be after today. They got 22 more games to go against the AL Central. They'll see the Twins quite a bit. They'll see these Royals some more. We mentioned they're going to play the Indians next. They got Fausto Carmona first, but at least they don't have to face CC Sabathia in that series. Boy, in a 10-0 game, we'd love to see Scott Feldman just attack hitters here. But again, he's been fairly consistently behind in the count today. Got Tony Pena Jr. on deck. He just can't get that thing over. They've hit a scoring rut in Houston, Tom. It was 15-11 in the bottom of the 5th. Padres over the Astros, but that's still the score now in the bottom of the 7th. Again, San Diego plated 11 in the top of the 1st in that game. All the runs charged to the starter Jason Jennings. That's a strike, 3-2. Seattle's got a quick 2-0 lead on Oakland. That game's in the 2nd. And there has been a home run hit in San Francisco, Tom, but not by Barry Bonds. Miguel Cabrera, number 25 for the Marlins. They lead the Giants 2-0. Sanders, little looper into left field for Wilkerson. He's got it. And the Royals do not add to their lead, and I'm sure that's fine with the Rangers. They're already down 10 going to the 9th. And is this the final Rangers at bat for Mark Teixeira? Coming up.
It takes a certain kind of person to appreciate this level of performance and technology. We like to call them Type A's. Don't miss the Acura chance to advance sales opportunity. Acura. Advance.
Take advantage of attractive financing on all Acura models for well-qualified customers.
Tony Romo, Terrell Owens, Sports Sunday tonight at 10 on Fox 4.
10-0 Kansas City in a game that, well, either has to end with a dramatic, historic comeback of all times or quickly. One of the two. Emil Brown in left field now. Out there in place of Reggie Sanders. And the Rangers, if they've got a miracle rally, Michael Young will be the catalyst. He's going to lead it off here in the ninth. Mark Teixeira to follow. Tex. Again, all the conjecture about whether or not he's going to get traded. We have no idea. I'm sure John Daniels is pondering very seriously what to do right now, but Tex will get up for the 2,629th Ranger at bat of his career, and he's at 499 runs batted in his Ranger career. I think there's a lot of Ranger fans hoping that he keeps on with the team. I think there are some Ranger fans that are resigned to, well, you know, maybe it's just time to see what's out there and see what else you can do going forward. But we will know by 3 o'clock Central Time Tuesday the future of Mark Teixeira. 1-2 the count to Michael Young.
Well, the next deadline that's coming up is the deadline to sign your draft choices. I think that's August 15th, isn't it?
That is correct, August 15th.
That's so right down the road, and not many first-round draft choices have signed. A lot of guys haven't signed. That's going to come right down. It's going to be a very interesting last couple of days.
That's the next order of business for John Daniels and his staff, I'm sure.
They haven't signed Blake Beddin yet, their first-round draft pick.
But you're right, the Rangers are not the only guys in baseball, not even close, that haven't locked things up with their first-round pick yet.
No, I'd say, I don't know how many have signed. Probably 5 or 6, maybe more than that. I haven't noticed, but I don't think many have signed. No one wants to be the first one to sign and then find out you signed a bad deal, I guess.
Young is out of there. Joel Peralta got him. Peralta's got a chance for a save, believe it or not, in a 10-0 game if he pitches the last 3 innings.
The other thing, though, if you're a player and you sign early, you get one full, well, almost one full. You get 3 months of baseball experience under your belt in the minor leagues, which should put you farther down the road when you go to spring training next year to get to the big leagues. So you can say you held out for the most money. I don't know if you've always done yourself the best good as far as getting to the big leagues as quick as you can. You get a fair deal and you're happy with it, go out and play. Get that minor league season under your belt. Meet your young minor league teammates. Get comfortable with pro ball, playing every day, so that spring training is not a new event for you.
0-1 to Tex.
Agents will say, "Oh, that's all hogwash. What difference does it make? You're going to sign. You're going to have a career anyway." But you know, the other thing is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow is not your signing bonus as a high school or college player. It's what you make out of your big league career.
Well, Mark Teixeira had the chance to sign out of high school. He did not. He went to college, he went to Georgia Tech, and he excelled. And as everybody ponders Texas' future, the present is this at bat against Joel Peralta in a 10-0 game. Gerald Laird with 2 of the hits today. Nelson Cruz with 1. Frank Catalanato with 1. And Tex, if that's his last act, it's a base hit. Down in the count. Well, 1-2 was seemingly a worse place to be than 3-0 in his last at bat, but on 3-0 last time he hit into a double play. 1-2 base hit. Marlon Byrd coming up. Again today, the Hall of Fame ceremony is in Cooperstown. That's kind of the big deal around baseball today. Barry Bonds trying to upstage that as the Giants and the Marlins are playing ball this afternoon. Wave and a miss by Marlon Byrd. Barry Bonds has batted a couple of times and nothing happening yet. Again, if it doesn't happen today, it might happen, at least a tie, if not the actual record would happen at Dodger Stadium. That's where the Giants go next. Another update here, Tom. The 15-11 game is still 15-11. The Padres over the Astros in the 7th. Bird trying to check his swing. He did check his swing, according to State Trooper Jim Wolf.
I think he checked it. Pretty close, though. I think he did.
The infield, a double play depth. Cruz on deck. This again would be a weird way to get a save. Joel Peralta's had only one of those in his major league career. But if you pitch a final 3 innings of a game, it can be 200-0, and you would get a save.
What if it was 201-0? Then would it be 2?
Yeah,
it would still be 1.
It would still be 1. Yeah. Hit him. Ooh, ow.
I hit him right in the rib cage. He didn't even flinch. Oh, he's grimacing a little bit. That has to hurt. Marlon's showing some pain tolerance the way he ran into the wall the other night at full speed and bounced right up. He takes this one. Let's see where that hits him. Right in the rib cage. That has to hurt.
Remember, he ran into the, yeah, like you said, ran into the wall and
that knocked the wind out of a normal guy.
Got the shoulder and the ribs banged up in this series.
93 miles an hour.
Well, the Rangers, I mean, obviously, doesn't look like they're going to come back and win it, but they've got a chance to make this a little bit more respectable here. Nelson Cruz, who had the 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in yesterday. We'll see if he can account for the last 8 Ranger runs in this series with a 3-run homer right here. And yes, I'm putting in the call because we're running out of time.
All right.
1 out in the 9th inning. Rangers down 10-0. That new wide open stance for Nelly. Nelson Cruz now 27 years old, and we were talking about this yesterday, Tom, kind of a make or break time in his career. A little too old now to be considered a prospect anymore. The time is now. Off speed, the count 1-2. There's no action in the Royal bullpen, so they're banking on Peralta just to figure out a way to get 2 more outs, get the Royals a sweep of the series. Fouled into the crowd, and still 1-2. We mentioned the Cubs have already won today behind Carlos Zambrano 6-0, putting the pressure on the Brewers to keep pace, and they're hanging on in St. Louis 5-4. But a suddenly shaky Coco Cordero will be asked to close that one out eventually. Colorado leading the Dodgers 4-2. Boy, the Rockies are still hanging around in that NL West.
Who was it pitched that game for them? The 74 pitch complete game?
Oh, I don't even know. Was that?
I think it was Aaron. Was it Aaron Cook?
Could have been.
Someone pitched a complete game the other day in 74 pitches.
Wow. Oh, I didn't even see that. Millwood was gone in 2 2/3 innings yesterday with 77 pitches.
I read that a couple of days ago, and I can't remember who it was. I think it was him.
Cruz down the right field line. He's making Peralta work on this humid afternoon.
I think it was he.
Ooh, good grammar. Ooh, good belly flop on the concrete right there, too. Ow.
game is kind of skidding into a slow ending, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, this is, it's taken a while here. Cruz, another foul ball. This is like one of the Batman villains who's got a chance just to finish off Batman, but keeps him dangling over the cauldron of boiling water in some weird apparatus. And you're shouting at the TV, why not just kill Batman right now?
Well,
end it.
Hopefully we are Batman and we can't be killed. About 40 minutes from now,
that would be cool.
It'll be 11-10.
See if the Caped Crusaders can figure out a way here. The 3-2. That is poked towards right. And the feet are now dangling in the cauldron. There is 2 down in the top of the 9th. And holy Leo Nunez, a guy that just came up from AAA. 6 innings, 3-hit shutout ball today. He'll get the win. Peralta looking to ease towards the finish here. Will get his second save. And the Royals looking to sweep the Rangers here before the Rangers head off to Cleveland. Wilkerson takes down and in. I think one of the weird things, maybe the happy things about this series, if there is one, Tom, with all the threat of rain, with all the humid weather, we only had a 37-minute rain delay in 3 days.
Yeah, there's some rain around us today that never materialized, too.
Still enough time for a guy in a yellow shirt to get on his cell phone right behind the umpire and start waving to his friends there. Hi, guy.
That is so boring.
He's on the phone, though. Somebody's telling him he's on TV. He's digging it.
Must be pretty proud of that green T-shirt. He wants to stand up so you can see as much of him as possible. And see how much weight I put on sucking up these cold beers at the game?
Tag. That's outside 2-1.
How about those sweat marks underneath my arms? They look pretty good, don't they? Ah, boy, it's good to see you on TV, big guy.
That guy's never going to give you an endorsement deal now.
Good.
Here's the 2-1. Outside, 3-1. I don't think Buddy Bell will be a real big fan of getting the bullpen up anytime soon.
I think you're going to make this guy stay in there forever anyway. He's only got 46 pitches.
Can you still see the guy in the T-shirt there, Tom?
Yeah, there he is. Just in case he popped back up again.
Wilkerson pops the ball foul into the crowd. Nice catch down there. All right, what'll end first, this game or the phone call that dude is on?
This game's going to end. That kid's not putting that phone down.
Yeah, the way we're going, his battery might run out.
He's having too much. He's having too much. He's having too much fun. Attaboy. Have another one for the ride home.
Ernest goes to a Royals game. The 3-2 runners going. Wilkerson with a grounder to short. And the Rangers have been swept in Kansas City. Mark Teixeira wondering where he's going next, if anywhere. Will he be on the field in Cleveland with the guys Tuesday night, or will he be on a plane heading somewhere else? 10-0 your final today. We'll come back in just a moment on KDFW Fox 4. For the Texas Ranger Baseball brought to you by Southwest Airlines, the official airline of the Rangers. Visit southwest.com and buy your Texas Ford dealers. Bold moves. Ford is the best in Texas. Now the Rangers just could not figure out a way to get anything done in Kansas City. This one did not go well today. Cam Lowe, the loser. Leo Nunez, the winner. And now it is on to Cleveland, Ohio. Again, your final today, the Royals 10 and the Rangers nothing. For Tom Grieve and our whole crew, Josh Lewin saying good day from the Midwest. And we invite you to join us Tuesday at 6:30. No, that's not right. Tuesday at 6 on My 27 when the Rangers start a 3-game series with the Indians. Today's game produced by Kurt Dykert and directed by Dave Burchett. Associate producers Kelly Donaldson and Carla Janeway. You've been watching Texas Ranger Baseball right here on KDFW Fox 4.